All right, welcome everybody to another episode of Bottom of the Bill. We've got our boys Chuck Magid and Daniel Heitz in the podcast today. I thought it was a really fun one.
I love this episode.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorites in a long time. I feel like we were just talking to a couple of guys.
Yeah.
Like a couple of friends, I'll say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's always cool getting to do shows with people that we know because it's like it feels more like a hang than like an interview.
Yeah, I feel like it's people on our level.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
No, they're way better than us. 100%.
I mean, they're amazing musicians, and I love everything they got going on with Steeln Peaches and Chuck Magid Trio and Daniel Heitz Band. They've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so make sure you guys look out for that. We also have Bottom of the Bill merchandise available right now. The links are on our YouTube. So head to our YouTube, subscribe, check out our Spotify, follow us, whatever we can do to try and grow this thing quicker, faster, bigger, all that good stuff. We have a website coming soon. All great things on the horizon. So make sure you keep up with us and all that stuff. And enjoy the episode.
New Bottom of the Bill episode starts now.
This is Bottom of the Bill, where we talk about the modern grind of a musician.
Album cycles.
Hold on, Bill. Give me a second, man. Because we don't know what we're talking about.
Spotify playlists.
You keep interrupting me. That's not how we discussed it. Just give me a second, man. We invite established artists
Festival lineups.
Can I just get my stuff out real quick? We invite established artists on to share their strategy to success.
Marketing strategies.
The premier do-it-yourself podcast.
Hashtag DIY.
Ah, screw it. This is Bottom of the Bill.
Welcome to the podcast, boys.
Yeah.
What's up?
We're going to do our cheers. So we'll cheers you guys through the screen.
There you go.
Cheers, guys. Hell yeah.
Hey, cheers.
It's cool. I'm glad we get to do this. We've played multiple shows together over the years. I've seen you guys in many different forms. I'm excited to get to sit down and hang with you without having the obligation of playing a show.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. So,
Or driving 2 hours.
yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, we're in the future now. We can do this via telephone.
For real. Yeah. What's been going on, guys? How's everything going?
We're good. We're chilling. We're kind of getting back in the swing of things of playing some more shows. Took a little break over summer, so it's kind of nice to get the ball rolling again here.
Hell yeah. So what's the main focus right now? You got Steeln Peaches, you got Chuck Magid Trio, you got Daniel Heitz Band. What's our main focus right now?
We're just juggling a lot of balls.
Yeah.
You know, like we're doing the whole Steeln Peaches thing. Like you said, we took a break for a little while. But now we're kind of halfway through, or maybe a little bit into fall tour, a couple weekends
Yeah,
at least.
I think we had a couple one-offs like at the beginning of September. What happened was July is too hot, and everyone's on vacation in Florida, and it rains every day at 4 p.m. So a year ago during pandemic or whatever, my wife and I said, we are not working in Florida during July's ever again. We're just going to travel. So we took July off, and then our percussionist and singer Dave in Steeln Peaches, awesome friend of ours, and an awesome bandmate, he is the first one of us in the band to have a baby. So his wife had a baby in early August, so we wanted to be really respectful of that, life-changing, time for them. So, we're easing back into it with a couple one-offs here every weekend, and now we're starting to get to where we're playing a couple shows back-to-back on these weekends and traveling a little bit more. So,
Hell yeah.
but I would have to say that we are definitely feeding the flame and fueling that fire that is the Steeln Peaches thing right now because, it's going pretty well. We're getting great responses at the shows, and everyone's just really vibing on it. So when that's happening, I think it's really important to just kind of keep fueling that fire and see where you can kind of get the project.
For like fans of the show that are watching it, can you like kind of describe Steeln Peaches to everybody?
For sure. You want me to describe it?
We call it an Allman Brothers review.
Review.
We just we've had this conversation multiple times, but we try to go the kind of Joe Russo route where we're like still respecting the music, playing all the parts that are supposed to be there, but also kind of experimenting with it and doing our own thing. So you know. Just
Definitely paying the
brothers.
respect the music deserves and playing all the parts, but then also putting our like own flair and our own influences on it as well.
Do you ever have like super like diehard Allman Brothers fans like just scream at you and tell you how awful you and off kilter it is?
I think Daniel hears that every show from his dad.
My pops, dude. My pops will give me if I ain't playing that shit right. No joke. When me and Chuck first started this project, it was just people were asking us to do it because we kind of both play guitar like that and we love that music. And then my dad saw us before it was Steelin' when we kind of were, I wouldn't say half-assed playing the parts, but not quite doing it. My pops was like, "You guys gotta get tighter."
Well, let's be real. We've been playing this music for years, where we were kind of like, you know, getting through the tunes and stuff, and then people used to book us as the Daniel and Chuck Allman Brothers review, or Chuck and Dan. And after the pandemic, we decided to really, you know, get these songs, as Daniel likes to say, dead nuts, you know, where we're really knowing our stuff front to back and paying the music the respect it deserves, you know. So if there is any purists out there, we're definitely trying to make sure that they're happy while also giving people that are just hearing this music for the first time, you know, an experience that is also, you know, it's historic, like, timeless music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you haven't heard it before, you recognize it, you know, and you recognize these songs are really killer songs. So, I mean, just be able to do it the way it needs to be done, note for note, but then also being able to venture and space out a little bit from time to time. I know, Billy, you know what I'm talking about with all that space, that space odyssey stuff.
No, I
you
want
know?
when people are doing tributes, like it should actually be a tribute and then put your own spin on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because what did I say? On a long enough timeline, every band becomes a cover band, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to a show and they just are like, "Shut up and play the hits. All we want is you to play the covers that we know."
Yeah, like the Stones are probably getting hit with Satisfaction all the time.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Like, you know, yeah.
So yeah, it's very refreshing to hear y'all take a new twist on the Allman Brothers. Not even a new twist, just like put your own spin on it.
Do you guys do a lot of jamming in that scenario, or are you just mostly playing the parts?
So there's definitely a lot of jamming. I think, you know, there was definitely a lot more jamming at first when our repertoire was smaller.
Right.
It's because we had to fill these 2 hour and 15-minute sets. But now we've got so many songs where we're really playing a lot of tunes. And then we're also kind of, these last couple gigs, we've been playing way less instrumental jams.
I think the jams have become more focused and less just like big and spacey. They become like we kind of know what we're gonna do and we're moving somewhere, which I think is the really important thing, you know.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing with the like the improv sections. Like, there's this whole kind of debate, I feel like, within this community of, you know, are you really jamming and improvising, or are you just kind of, you know, loosely playing stuff that you've kind of figured out through the course of jamming? And to me, there's definitely people that are doing both. What's your guys' take on that? What do you think is like the funnest way to do it?
Well, I know, just kind of touching on what you're talking about, I know Humphreys McGee does something really cool where they have like two different types of improvisations they do. One are called Jimmy Stewart's, and they're Space Odysseys. And the Jimmy Stewart's are things that they've already kind of written, that they know the jam parts, they're kind of like already kind of set in stone, so they know they're going to jam, but they're going to do this certain thing. But the Space Odysseys are things that they just like completely go off and just do whatever.
Right. That shit's always like wild to me. It's like I like those kind of jams. It's really fun, especially when you got like people like filling in that don't typically play with you, and you can kind of, they're gonna play the song a certain way that's different than what you're used to. So like trying to adapt and figuring out like the new way to play the song and jamming in the moment versus kind of playing an established, you know, quote unquote improv section, you know, that you know kind of more or less is where it's going. So I think it's fun to do both for sure, but definitely that element of not knowing what's going to happen next makes it a lot of fun.
Definitely. I mean, now we're to a point where we got this catalog of songs where we'll be in the middle of a jam, but then one of us will cue a lick from an entirely different song, and because we know the harmonized licks, we'll know, to go into that section.
Yeah.
It's kind of like way more parts than it is just free space, but you got to, you know, get there somehow. So I think like this past weekend at Tuffy's for our encore, we did Blue Sky into Mountain Jam back in the Blue Sky, and we didn't know how we were going to do it or how we were going to get there or segue all this stuff. And we even threw in some Led Zeppelin, How Many More Times iconic bass riff in there just to get to the next section.
Oh, yeah.
But once you start playing those cues that lead you into that, back into that verse, you know, it's nice to have that foundation of, makes it sound like we know exactly what we're doing.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, it takes a certain level of comfortability on stage and just musicianship to get away with that kind of stuff. And obviously over the years of doing this and train wrecking stuff, and then, or pulling it off perfectly, you kind of get so comfortable with that spectrum that you can kind of pull it off in any situation after a while.
That's the best part about being a listener, going to a jam band show, is when you hear that like get out of this jam riff for the first time. You're like, oh fuck, they're going into this now. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, totally.
That's my favorite. I love the Biscuits. They're my favorite jam band, and like they're the kings of doing that. Like, I think they're about to play this, and then they'll go away from it, they'll tease it or whatever. But when they finally hit that lick and they get it, the whole audience goes crazy. Not even because of the song that they're about to play, just because like, I recognize this hook.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love jam bands. They're the best. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about this tour you guys got coming up. Where are you guys going?
Do you know where we're going, Daniel?
I have to check my calendar anytime anybody ever asks me that question.
I definitely feel that.
Daniel was like, so where are we? Are we at Will's Pub this weekend?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, we're in Gainesville, dude. But yeah. So I mean, we started off at the BotB Amphitheater here in Central Florida. Then the next week we just did a little festival in Steeln Peaches called the 7-Band Jam in an awesome place called Fiddler's Resort. It's become a cool little Steeln Peaches home away from home. And then where did we go after that? We went to Floridian Social Club in St. Petersburg,
Nice.
Florida. And then we went down to Boca at this new spot, the Boca Black Box. Usually we play at Crazy Uncle Mike's. They got a handful of cool spots down there in South Florida, so we're checking them all out. But I mean, we're also, I'd just like to touch on the fact that St. Pete was crazy. That was hands down our biggest show as a band yet, and by almost double attendance from any other show we've done. So it was like pretty crazy and surreal to have a venue pretty packed out playing all this music, and if everybody there knows the songs and is celebrating it with you. So, I mean, we're really trying to push the envelope and see what we can do with this thing. Just had to touch on that show. It was just crazy.
It was. It was super crazy.
Where are we going next? Heartwood Soundstage, Gainesville, Florida. Then we're going to a couple weddings this month, chilling out for Halloween. Then we're going to Underbelly, Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
We'll see you there November 4th. Where else? We're going to Charleston Poorhouse. And then we're going from there to Cocoa Village, to a festival in Fort Pierce, to Lakeland at Union Hall. Then we're at New World Brewery in Tampa, Will's Pub on Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. Then we're doing the Marion Theater in Ocala, then Beachside Tavern. And then we just made we just played Sanford Tuffy's too, but we just made a vocal announcement at the end of our show at Tuffy's. We're going to be playing New Year's there.
Hell yeah.
So we'll also be playing a little festival that weekend and surrounding that whole weekend with our first proper New Year's run. Only been a band for one New Year's previously, so excited to have a proper run this second year.
Yeah, man. Well, congratulations on all that. Sounds super exciting.
Thank you. And we just got our first booking agents too, so we're excited to be working with these guys moving on into the new year. So,
Who are you guys signing with?
we're going with this crew, True Grit Talent Agency. They got some awesome guys. Philip Walker and Andrew Hall are going to be tag team in the operation. Andrew Hall is also the talent buyer at 3rd and Lindsley in Nashville, Tennessee. And then also the talent buyer and I believe venue manager at Last Concert Cafe in Houston, Texas too.
Hell yeah.
And it's just been awesome to see their progression as, buyers and talent agents, and think excited to see what we can all do together. Expanding the team.
Hell yeah, man. I love it.
That's great. What's your goal for it to be like Joe Russo's Almost Dead, but just make it Allman Brothers?
Yeah,
Maybe from the
kind of.
South. We just want to have fun.
Yeah.
honestly,
All right.
like,
Okay. All right.
with our best friends. But if we're
that's
able to
sweet.
play music that people freaking love, and the idea is just to play music, it makes us happy, So our keyboard player put it pretty well one time, or interestingly enough, he was playing in Thomas Wynn and the Believers, and then also Hannah Harbor and the Lionhearts, and he's played in our projects before, but he's never written his own music, so he put it no matter whose band I'm in, I'm playing someone else's music,
Fair
So
point.
it was a really cool perspective that I've never really heard before. But yeah, man. I mean, that's the goal. Everyone in the band has their own original projects, so we're all being as creative as we possibly can. This is just kind of helping everything rise a little bit to the top.
Just a vehicle, for us to do what we do, for sure.
Totally, man. So what's the creative process like right now with the original bands, and are you guys planning on showcasing those projects more?
Definitely. It's been pretty cool because we can book Steeln Peaches, but then we can also offer, hey, we also have 5 other bands if you need some more bands for your festival or whatnot. Like I have my own band. Daniel has his own band. Bucky, our drummer, has Oxford Nolan. He's also touring internationally with Roosevelt Collier, which is a pretty awesome thing.
Oh, yeah.
Our bass player, Glenn, plays in an awesome band called the Unlistenables. I said Colin, our keyboard player, plays in Thomas When the Believers, Hannah Harbor and the Lionhearts. And then David Venegas, our percussionist, he also has his own jazz quartet. So we're all, honing in on those original projects and using this thing to kind of spend our time gigging right now while we can put together all the, these days, the EPs, the videos, the content, we're content creators that play music for hour and 15 minutes at a time.
That's literally what it is. I tell people all the time that ask us about this because it's like, oh, you guys, you must love what you do. You get to play music with your friends, and it's a blast. It's like, yeah, it is, but that's like 10% of what actually goes into what we're doing. Like what you see on stage is not the thing. That's the part that we get to enjoy, and then there's the other 90% of it that's like, a lot of
work.
Yeah, it's work. It's a lot of the emails and that kind of stuff. But then even like the thinking about the content creating and then like being on top of the social media stuff and then you get into like all the music rights and all that shit. It gets to be like so. There's a lot of aspects to this that are just not what we all got into this for. I would imagine.
Definitely, but I mean, the game's like also changed like completely over the years from the heydays of the golden eras where everyone was buying CDs, cassette tapes, and records all at the same time in the late 90s, 99, where Shania Twain was crushing it. Now it's like streams, but that's not really how you make your living. You got to go out there and play. Live performance is like the number one revenue stream for musicians. So it's like we just want to play and have fun anyway. So we can't really there are ways for us to be able to sell the music of Steeln Peaches or whatnot, but we're really looking to just play it as much as possible,
Totally.
What was like the social media of the 90s?
What
was it all about? I guess
magazines
it's your
and-
music videos, right?
Yeah,
That's
Getting on
content.
MTV. No, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
What was the hard work back then? We're working harder, or are we?
I don't think we're working
I
harder.
don't know, maybe.
What do you guys
Well,
think?
we also have all these tools, like we're sitting here talking over Zoom.
Yeah.
We got 4K cameras rolling. We're recording on Logic and all whatever you're recording on, all these interfaces. I mean, even that's kind of the idea of why we're building out this like little studio space here. And our drummer Bucky also has an awesome studio space. And we're just trying to make it so we have like production studios anywhere we want to go. If we need to make videos, if we need to, edit music, mix tunes, record, like now it's about you got to do it all to make a living, and I'm a big fan of that. I just like being a musician so much that taking on those challenges of learning a new tool or a new program or a new interface or how to be a cameraman, a Photoshop designer, a booking agent, a manager, whatever it may be. You really got to embrace the hyphen. I had an awesome professor, Chuck Archer at Rollins College, teaches all the music business classes and then also is the bass professor there. And he's always preaching to his students, embrace the hyphen. I think Ari Herstand also says that in his book. He's a big Ari fan. So, I mean, there's ways to do it. You just got to go out and get it. And that's why I think Steeln Peaches is so fun and special because all these guys want it so bad. So it's like when you get everybody on the same page and then we really practice like transparent like communication too is something we're really working on. I think that's why this band's working the way it is so far is like it's tough for dudes or males to be vulnerable and talk about their feelings and how they feel.
Yeah.
But I think for the fact that we've been able to do that and embrace how important that is for us to be able to make the music that much better is really really helped everything out. I mean, I don't know, Dan, how do you feel about telling me how you feel all the time.
Oh, I love it, dude. You're great. You're like my therapist pretty much. So all good, dude.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's been great. You know, I call it always keeping all the puppies in a box, and it is hard sometimes. I mean, as you know, it's like being in a relationship with a bunch of dudes. It's kind of weird, but it's great, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So
That's literally what it's like, though. I mean, it's.
I would trade it.
You would trade it?
Yeah.
for a pile of cash.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would, for sure.
There's definitely two things that I want to kind of expand on, or just like, add on to with that. Is that the first part of that is the embracing the hyphen, like all that. That's amazing, because like the thing is it's like nowadays as an artist you have to wear all these different hats and like figure out what the next thing is. But to me, it's very similar train of thought, where it's like, if you love playing music and you love, like the artistry side of it, then you can apply that same creativity to the business side of it as well. And if you just allow yourself to look at the business as just another creative endeavor, like learning the Photoshop stuff, learning the software to record music, and then, or just even thinking about new ways to create content, like creating a podcast, or like what you guys are doing right now with all the behind the scenes stuff that you're releasing is great stuff, and it's high quality too. So it's just thinking about like building your team, delegating stuff, and then getting creative with how you create the content, and just even how you run your business. If you're an artist, there's creativity in all of that, and if you find it, the whole thing becomes a lot more, I think, fun and almost more like a game than it is more of a daunting task.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like our goal is like, if you want to do this, like I want to be able to create sustainable careers for all these guys to be able to justify spending their time getting in a van and going and playing some music. And also now half the band's married, so we got to justify it to spouses as well.
You're right. Right.
It really helps when you have your business in order and everyone's seeing the spreadsheets and where everything's going, and the transparency, like I was talking about. Everybody knows every single around every corner of what's happening in this operation, in this band, and we are lucky that we're also doing that musically. We're uncovering different stones and then just figuring out how we can utilize these different tools, and we're just hustling.
I love it, man. I love it.
We're tired, but we're hustling.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel that, man.
David Bowie was like an old school example of doing all this stuff, because he was like, I don't want to make music right now. I want to be I think for a little while he was a mime.
Really?
Yeah, he spent like a couple of years being a mime. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
I will say he did a lot of blow, for sure. But I remember for real though, like he was like, I want to be an actor, and so he did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he did, and
Yeah.
and he wanted to make movies, and he wanted to be a writer, and all this other stuff, and that I guess isn't really the whole social media-ing and starting a business or whatever, but.
Well, he did that too. If
No,
you think
but
that he
of
wasn't
course.
aware of the business side of it,
No,
that
and
dude
he
has,
was.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is like going to your point about doing everything extra. A lot of people can be like, I'm not doing that. I'm a musician. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, that's true. But you can also do these things. Why you got to put yourself in a
box.
In a box like that.
Yeah, totally.
And also, you can get burnt out on playing music. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's kind of cool to wear different hats sometimes, because, doing this all the time, I need time away from that lady sometimes,
Oh man, I mean, like I can go on for days about how brutal the bar gigs that pay the bills right now can be. You know what I mean? So
We've all experienced that for sure.
It's
Yeah.
a wild child right there. But I think it's also part of the journey, until you figure out how to break through that box doing something else. Like I played in the corner of every taco bar and taco shop in Central Florida, every brewery. Back in the day, it was like, did like 272 gigs one year of just solo gig hustling.
Yep.
And then thank God the pandemic hit, or else I would have gone crazy.
You still went a little crazy, I think.
I still am crazy, but came out the other side like wanting to figure out how to make a living, and so I think diversifying is a huge part of it. Like you're talking about even acting and stuff. Like how many cameos have you seen Flea on in movies? He's in Star Wars, he's in Big Lebowski. I think diversifying. I had a class at grad school. I did that after the pandemic, and it was music business revenue streams, and it really talked about diversifying, how you made a living as an artist. And a lot of these artists, like Rihanna playing the Super Bowl this year, her main revenue stream isn't from her music; it's from cosmetics, I believe.
Yep, that's
Makeup.
that's
So-
a lot of artists, man. I mean, 50 Cent made all of his money with vitamin water, so
And then
you
he
know,
lost all of it too with vitamin
did he
water.
really?
Keep
What about
that
some-
keep that in mind.
Cabo Wabo. I think
Oh, Jimmy Buffett's
That was-
got it down 100%.
that was Sammy Hagar's
no,
Cabo Wabo,
no,
right?
yeah. I'm saying
But Jimmy
Margaritaville.
Buffett, dude, I
Oh,
went to
yeah.
Jimmy Buffett. We scootered down there with a gallon jug of Hurricane pre-mixed. You know, so we had our we were bumming it down there, and but he owned Landshark and then sold Landshark, but he still makes $5 per Landshark beer. That's like, or 5% of every Landshark beer or something like that. And everybody in a 20,000 person arena is drinking Landshark.
right.
So he's making 5% of every beer or something. I mean, it's those weird little things that some people, and you know, I definitely am guilty of. Like, I just am fascinated by that stuff, and that's why I try to surround myself around some more musical purists like Daniel. And, you know, I'm just, I think that kind of melting pot of everybody having different minds. You know, the business with the music, and you know, a little bit of family life, all that melting pot really creates.
I gotta say, in our
Unique opportunities
duo,
in
I'm
bands.
definitely more on Daniel's side.
Yeah, totally.
Because I can't stand any of this shit at
Yeah.
all, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah, I'm
with
with you, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm with you, bro. Chuck, I'm really happy to have Chuck around because he has taught me a lot about a lot of this stuff. I just want to play guitar.
Yeah.
And shit, so.
Yeah.
That's
That's really what I want to do, but I know we have to do this to
No.
make living. So.
Chuck, you
It
and I are
is
cut
true.
from the same cloth, my
Yeah.
friend.
Oh, man.
I want to. This is a side of it that I find fascinating. I really want to get into all that in a minute. Let's do a bottom of the billboard.
bottom of the billboard.
So you got
Bottom of the billboard. Wait, bottom of the billboard. Where's my beer?
get your
Yeah, where'd you
fucking
put your
beers,
beer?
boys.
I was
Dude,
about
come
to
on,
say,
Cheers up.
the way that it's two of us versus two of them right now, I feel like we should be doing some sort of like game or something like that,
Yeah,
like some sort of music quiz.
we could definitely do that. We could throw that in at some point today.
If we're
I was
talking
thinking it
Allman
would
Brothers
just be a
stuff, I got
Oh
drinking
yeah,
game.
no, we're not gonna do Allman Brothers. That's such
Yeah,
a
that's
cheap.
totally rigged against us in that situation.
Yeah, if
Hey,
you
we'll
quiz
go
me on
Disco
Derek Trucks, I'm
Biscuits
good.
toe for toe over
No,
here.
we won't. There's
No,
no
you'll
way.
smoke me.
There's no way.
smoke
I'll
me.
smoke you.
I'll play on
Can
your
I
team,
phone a
guys.
friend?
It's all good. I'll help you out.
Yeah, good luck.
Let's go.
You can phone me. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'll give you some answers.
It was a trick. Anton.
But anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. So let's do bottom of the billboard this week. What do we got, Bill?
Face to Face by the incredible, way ahead of their time, Daft Punk.
Yeah.
This song came out in 2001,
Really?
over 20 years ago.
That's wild.
Yes, it is wild. I was a young lad when this came out. I was, I think, 12, and I was just obsessed with that whole album, and I loved their whole sort of behind the mask vibe or whatever. It's like, for some reason, I always put Daft Punk and Gorillaz in the same category.
We're going to see the Gorillas.
Right,
Fuck
but
yeah.
Next month.
the whole point where like you never saw their face or anything like that. You always just saw like, you know, they were in robot costumes, and then you didn't even see the robot costumes at all when this album came out. It was all this like anime of blue people and everything. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of great songs on that track, but a lot of them are very, very just, you know, four on the floor and just a repetitive loop, or like around the world. Like, come on. Like that.
Yeah,
But
totally.
this song I really love because what they did, I don't think they were the first to do this, but they brought this to light, was using like every sample you could think of. This song has something close to like 20 different samples from like bands you never would have thought of. A lot of Kenny Loggins on this song, believe it or not. Alan Parsons Project, like the weirdest samples you can think of. So I always I had no idea about this until, you know, I was much older. But when I was a kid, I'm like, I love this, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I just thought it's amazing that they can make a track like this with that many samples like that, and like just like tiny little details sample
Yeah.
like that.
What's that? There's like this effect that happens at the beginning, at the top of like of this one section where it sounds like somebody's taking a like, I don't know, like one of those air pressure things is blowing it right in your face. You know, it's
That
like-
A compressor.
no, that would be I believe a noise
yeah,
is what it's called.
So it's called a noise.
Yeah, on a synthesizer. It's literally, I'm not like I'm not joking.
Yeah, no.
I was like, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
but like static or whatever. But yeah, it's not a noise oscillator. Somebody's gonna be like, no, it's not an oscillator. I'm like, okay, all right, but that's what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I fucking love that effect.
The
I actually.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just you can feel it like it's like it reverberates in your body, like it feels
Yeah.
like it's smacking you right in the face. I actually like this song a lot.
Oh, I didn't think you were going to.
No, I love this.
Throw some side chain compression on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Embrace the kick.
No,
Yeah.
that's more Benny Benassi, but Daft Punk.
Now make it
Daft
sound
Punk's
like I
pretty
know what
good.
I'm talking about.
yeah. Chuck's just throwing out like engineer
Buzzwords,
terms right
buzzwords.
now. That just yeah.
If you
We found another friend.
Yeah.
if you listen to this track though, you can go to YouTube and there's a lot of I can't remember the name of the channel, but they like break down every single like DJ sampling thing, and they'll put like the album cover like when all the samples come up.
Yeah.
But this one's just insane
You know what it kind of
because they
reminds me.
use like not even a second of something.
No, I know. You know what it kind of reminds me of is like, and you're gonna hate me for saying this.
Go ahead.
But it sounds kind of like, and maybe they got it from Daft Punk, but it sounds like a Pretty Lights kind of situation.
100%.
Yeah.
They stole it from Daft Punk.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, but that's why I wanted to just make sure I was paying homage to the right person. But I love.
Yeah, shout out Pretty Lights.
Yeah, I love that shit, man. So I heard this. It did not sound. It was not at all what I expected from Daft Punk.
No, I know.
Yeah, so I
and
really liked
again,
it.
like everybody, because they're like, oh, Daft Punk, or like they're the ones that do that Kanye West song, and that's how they got like super popular. But back, when I was like teenager or whatever, like that was everything to me. I had a point to this.
Yeah. Good.
There is a point
Yeah.
somewhere.
No, but like when the new album came out, Random Access Memories, and they had like every soul artist that you can think of on one album. Everybody was like, "Oh, Daft Punk sounds all funky and stuff." Now I'm like, they've been doing this for 20 years ago. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
No, it was dope. I loved it.
And
I
now
love.
they're broken up, and so
I love.
no more new
I
music.
mean, are they broken up or are they just killing it so hard that they can just put out a record every 10, 12 years and
I hope
just
so.
come back for one world tour and then chill out?
I wish they.
I mean, they're as big as it gets too. You
Yeah.
can't play all the time when you're Daft Punk. Like I don't know, but when it comes to French DJ duos, I'm more of a Justice fan.
Oh hell yeah, hell yes, 100% to
Ever-
Justice.
You watch their YouTube documentary. It's on YouTube, dude. It's insane. Like the last show of the whole tour, they're gonna fight out in the back alley. The guy smashes a dude's like head with a Jack Daniels bottle, cuts his whole hand to shreds, goes and plays like an hour, 2-hour set, and then their tour manager's pouring more whiskey on it, wrapping it up. They go do an encore, and then he gets escorted out of there in handcuffs.
Oh my
jail.
god.
Yeah.
So
That's
good.
awesome.
And their tour manager, it gets like a Glock sent to him in like a FedEx box. So he's in the tour bus just like pointing it out the window and shit. Like
I love
they
it.
are that. Go watch that movie. It is the most rock and roll situation I've ever seen. They are the most rock star DJs
You like Justice?
of all time.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh,
I'm so
Tom.
removed
Dude.
from the.
Justice!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Justice fucks, dude.
I'm so removed from
Dude.
that world, but there's stuff definitely within that realm that I appreciate, but just never.
Like
never,
this song, you appreciate this
I
song.
love this song.
Really?
Yeah.
You do?
I the guitar stuff I thought was really cool. Like the bass line I thought was dope. It really grooves like hard, but then it's got like that element again that obviously Pretty Lights stole. But I became very familiar with Pretty Lights because my friends were very into Pretty Lights, and that was like an aspect of EDM that I really really enjoyed.
We all hated Pretty Lights.
No, because you guys are like more purists. And
It was
stuff.
just
I
like
was into
it was
it.
just
I was about
it was
it,
just
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Do enough ecstasy and
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that was definitely the thing. It was just literally just hanging out in my friend's living room, just dropping fucking rolls and just literally just zoning and just going crazy to Pretty Lights and stuff within that genre,
Yeah, for sure.
I played the fifth.
Yeah, okay, we get it, Bill. You're so
Yeah, I don't know. Mom and Dad, I'm sorry.
Bill.
I'm with you, Billy. No comment.
Bill, it's like
What?
it's like
ahead and say it.
what's Pretty Lights?
No comment.
What's the
It's soft. It's like the John Mayer of EDM.
No, it's like if Billy was talking about jazz, he'd be talking about how much he loves what's the fucking sax player guy, Kenny
Loggins?
no.
Kenny G.
Yeah, Kenny G.
Kenny
Billy,
G,
but yeah, I
baby.
love Kenny G. But like any jazz
I don't
purist is
like-
like, well, fuck you. Like
Yeah.
literally anything to happen, for, like
yeah, yeah,
Coltrane or something,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, no, Kenny G. I'm saying I like Pretty Lights, but like
right,
Daft
right,
Punk,
right.
you know
Oh,
what I mean?
exactly. That's okay. That's even better. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like the. No, I don't want to say that because he's actually pretty
Well,
good.
dude,
but-
he got all
He's
his
just
stuff from
soft.
Michael Maynard. He got all his
Yeah.
stuff from Michael Maynard. Then he went to
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Fucking Chuck
I don't know,
knows
I was
what he's
deep-
talking about. Michael
I was
Maynard's
deep
fucking
in that game.
Michael Maynard
moved
fucks
out-
too.
I moved out to Colorado and started a DJ duo called Electronic with keyboards and guitar.
Electronic, I love that.
And
That
Pretty
sounds
Lights was
awesome,
big.
Chuck.
There's pictures of me as like a 21-year-old kid chasing freaking Big Gigantic around the state. We like drove through a blizzard to see Panty Raid in Aspen.
Hell
like,
yeah, Panty Raid,
I was
Big
deep,
Gigantic.
I was deep in that scene for a bit. I managed a drum and bass DJ from South Korea who went to Full Sail here in Orlando, and it got me heavy in the drum and bass scene. And that's how I got turned on to Justice and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all music, and it's like however you can get there, you know, kind of spiritually, and like it's a high.
Yeah.
You know, like making music and playing music is a high that we're all chasing constantly. It's like, and that's a big thing is I definitely stopped criticizing different music because I think it's all respect. If you're doing it, like that's it. And, you know, we're in a cover band.
Never wanted to be.
No,
but-
it's a tribute band.
It's a review.
It's a review. Yeah,
A
yeah.
review band.
Come on, guys.
Review.
Stick with the elevator pitch. It's a review, guys.
I think Colonel Bruce said it. He said, you know, if you really want to do, the people that are really doing this, really playing music, they always have a gun to their back. It's like all they can do and all they want to do, you know. So
Yeah.
as long as you're doing it, that's cool.
The
don't have
I've
a
got
choice.
But Daft Punk though, it makes the podcast or makes the Billboard.
yeah,
I-
100%.
100%
I give them a
makes
thumbs up.
Yeah,
thumbs
thumbs
up.
up.
all
How
around.
could you not give Daft Punk thumbs up?
Well, they bridged the gap too. I mean, yeah, it's electronic music, but they were all
It's
over
iconic.
the Billboard chart. I mean, they were huge. You know, they were massive.
It's as
so-
big as
Yeah.
it gets.
Yeah.
Totally. There's this whole thing that like I talk like
You guys could be Daft Punk. We don't even know.
with that. You know, I mean, there's a reason why I'm living in an apartment in
Je
Riverside that's
pense.
falling apart. It's because it's a choice, really. I'm
Deep undercover.
yeah,
Undercover, dude.
deep undercover. No, like my dad is a musician, and that generation, you know, of like the 70s and 80s and stuff. They're so much more about like, you know, if you're not playing an instrument, it's not music. And to me, it's like the instrument is just a tool like anything else. It doesn't matter like if you're pushing buttons or like playing a keyboard or you're playing guitar or you're, you know, at a computer and you're dialing stuff in just completely like, you know, digitally, whatever it is, like it doesn't matter. The idea is in your head and you're able to bring it to the world. That's what makes a musician to
Yeah.
me, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So, but yeah,
Pops
so the
is
song
same way,
definitely.
man.
Really? I can imagine if he's into Allman Brothers like that, he probably can't stand EDM stuff.
Oh yeah, he's old bass player.
Should we
dude,
talk
yeah.
about your name, bro?
Yeah, we can do that. My parents are old hippies, and they thought it was a smart idea to make my middle name Benjamin. So it's Benjamin, but it's
Yes.
Benjammin, which
No
makes that-
shit.
I-
Are you serious?
Jamming.
Yeah, it's my middle name on my birth
love-
certificate. No lie.
Love that though, right?
Dan Benjamin?
Dude,
Why
the
isn't
thing
that
is,
your fucking band
There's,
name? Like,
there's photos of
sorry.
Daniel on the back of golf carts at Wani at age like 9, playing dobro slide guitar with bandanas on his head.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and his brother playing the djembe, and his dad playing guitar with him. Like, Daniel's been literally trained his whole life to play this music.
Never
And
had a
it's-
chance.
I mean,
dude.
you can tell when he plays the
Never
guitar.
had a
You know what I mean?
chance.
You can
You didn't-
you can definitely
You think-
tell when he plays guitar, man. It's
From the day he was born.
yeah, you can definitely tell. It shit comes right. I mean, like you are.
And he picks with his fingers, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
You are a next level. Not even just just a musician, not even just a guitar player. Like you're like an artist on the instrument, man. You are phenomenal.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Anton.
Hell yeah.
Freak in the sheets.
Yeah. Oh yes. That's
Chuck knows all about that. We're a real close band.
Shout out, ladies.
yeah.
Shout out, ladies.
Um,
Loosen up my boy Dan.
There you go. Yeah, literally and figuratively, yeah. So I want to go back to the business side of stuff because this is where the aspect that I find like very interesting.
And
as
it's what
well.
everybody else that listens to wants to hear. So.
We gave them enough of the other shit. They're good now.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
We don't want to talk about eating rolls and listening to Daft Punk and Pretty Lights.
Oh
No,
my
nobody
God,
wants to hear
I
that.
can
We want
hardly remember that.
spreadsheets and schematics.
Let's fucking do it, boys.
Listen, on May 12th of 2006, I had 2 rolls. It's on the spreadsheet.
It's on a spreadsheet.
What were you going to ask? I'm sorry.
No. Well, I'm curious because you, Chuck, you went back to school for music business. What was the kind of thing that made you want to do that? And you know, what did you learn? How are you applying it? Let's talk about all that.
Cool. Well, I always was really into that. You know, I think even back with the Groove Orient, when we were getting up and going, I knew all that stuff needed to be done. And we were a band in our senior year of college. So I did a independent study with that guy, Chuck Chuck Archer that I referenced earlier on an advanced music business course, and the whole course was just artist development for my own band. So I had to book a tour. I had to book we had to release a CD, and I created the whole syllabus and curriculum of things and goals that I set out to kind of make happen. And ever since then, I just got really fascinated and really into it. It's kind of very similar to my family's lifestyle. They owned a traveling carnival. They just retired this last summer.
Chuck's a
So,
carny.
rides
Whoa.
and games
Fuck
and concessions.
You got real carny vibes about you. I can see it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you basically travel, you set up, you entertain, and then you tear down and go to the next city. And being a traveling touring musician is very similar to that. And I just always knew what needed to be done to do what I wanted to do with my life and kind of for a living. Like, how many teachers did you have growing up where they said, well, don't get into playing an instrument if you want to make any money? And I was just like, well, I just want to live my dream, you know? So the music business stuff kind of just came kind of naturally because I knew what I wanted to do and I knew that needed to be done to get there. When the pandemic hit, I should have gone to school right then. It took about 8 months or 9 months for me to even realize or think about going back to school. But then I saw someone got accepted to the Berklee Online program on Facebook, and I was like, holy crap, let me look into this. It was more affordable than Full Sail to do a 1-year master's degree. And I went to the Berklee 5-week summer program when I was 17. I went to a national guitar workshop for a couple years, and then my junior, senior year, went to the Berklee 5-week camp. And that summer is the first time I ever heard of or saw, not heard of, but I saw the Allman Brothers that summer. I saw Widespread Panic that summer. I saw Bob Weir and Rat Dog that summer. Saw Keller Williams. That summer changed the trajectory of kind of my whole life. I went to Wani the next year, saw the Allman Brothers. Anyways, we had this band coming up, and you know, I really have an appreciation for the music business side of things, but you know, sometimes you need a piece of paper for people to take you a little bit more seriously. And the program was awesome. It was 1 year. I always wanted to go to Berklee. I didn't get in for guitar, and I got in for music business, and it was like a dream come true. And I always sucked at school. It took me 6 years to get through private school here at Rollins College in the music department for guitar. I played lacrosse and played guitar, and still took me 6 years. But the thing is, I always sucked at school, and I went to school for something I really loved, and it was awesome. It was the greatest experience. I've always hated school, and I can't preach it enough about that Berklee program. A lot of lessons learned, but I think one of the biggest takeaways is obviously networking with professors and fellow students that are also in the industry and doing like-minded things. And it's all about networking and relationships and, you know, just being a good person. And it definitely helps you know what you need to do. I mean, it got me a couple gigs last year. I went to Mexico and was a marketing assistant for the Dead & Co. Festival and My Morning Jacket Festival. That helped me get the Swanee Rising social media gig last year. Paul Levine hooked me up with that gig. I saw he was just on your guys' podcast.
Yeah, shout out.
So I got to do all the social media for that festival. And then that landed me a music marketing gig in Nashville, a remote gig for these last 6 months, which I just stopped doing on Friday. It was an awesome experience. And it's kind of the progression from school to getting a music marketing job to now just focusing on music full time and using all these skills to kind of get our music careers where we want them to be. I mean, that's kind of the whole story right there. I don't know if I told you how cool the program was specifically.
Yeah.
But I have a lot to credit it. You know, but obviously it comes. Obviously, you don't need a degree to be able to make these kind of things happen. You know, some of the greatest songwriters didn't take a songwriting class.
Oh,
you know?
of course.
You know, some of the biggest managers didn't go to management school.
Right.
Like music business classes, you know. So it's definitely been helpful in my journey, and I just want to be able to apply all these skills and everything I learned to help and develop our careers as musicians, you know. So
yeah, man. Well, there's so much to this grind.
was that a good one, Dan?
You did a good job, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
That was great. That was very exactly what we needed to hear, actually.
Can we start talking about super locrian scales yet?
No, not yet. What were they really teaching you though at Berklee though about music business? You know what I mean?
So a handful of classes were like a music business revenue streams class. There was a couple music marketing classes, data and analytics, there was an artist management course, and I kind of got drawn towards more of the music marketing stuff. I already did like booking, but then like I've played so many shows, traveling so far, and no one showed up to the shows. We're doing so many pieces right, booking the shows, getting there on time, setting up and performing like high quality music for people. But like one of the biggest things that always was a letdown is when no one showed up or there was no one there.
Right.
So I really think I got drawn towards the marketing because I think that was a missing link in what I wanted to bring to fruition in our shows, and I'm very thankful that we're utilizing some of those music marketing skills and getting some people out to these shows,
Hell yeah.
That's kind of the ultimate goal. You just want to play music in front of people and make them happy.
Yeah.
Totally.
And if no one's there, it's tough to make other people happy.
I
As
mean,
happy as you are, right? Exactly.
yeah, exactly.
But sometimes they are there.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Then you just got to rip
No,
and dip.
no, but I mean, yeah.
And then now what do we do? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's sorry. I was trying to
Well,
say
that's
about
another
like when
intimidating part.
last time we played in Savannah. There were
Yeah.
a ton of people there, and they were just so mad
give a
that we
fuck.
were there.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
yeah, just because we were playing songs they'd never heard before, and
Yeah.
that's not that.
Really
That's,
crazy about Wagon Wheel though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That song's fire, dude.
I think that's the whole thing too. Is Steeln that's really cool, and the reason why people are coming out is because Chuck's able. Well, we're able to really focus the marketing to people that's gonna like the music. When they show up, they know what they're getting, and they know that they're gonna like it.
Right. So there's a lot of the stuff that I've had to dive into as well when it comes to putting together ad campaigns on the different platforms. Facebook is probably the most sophisticated as far as like what you're capable to do, how you're able to target your demographics on there. But Instagram is getting pretty good too. So like, can you talk about some of like, what goes into that and some of the takeaway that you got from either school or just, personal experience and what works for you,
For sure. I think telling people what it is very important. You know what I mean? Like, tell them what it is. Tell them what the show is. We are an Allman Brothers review. We say that in everything we do. We also show them, like when we're promoting shows, we show them the videos of us playing. We're feeding them videos of full performance songs. We're also sending them like teasers of highlighted parts of the songs. We try to give them like information about the band, and that's something we're trying to do more of, is showcasing each individual person and also their original projects and efforts. So that's a big part of it, is like, because everyone also has their own band. So when we're not playing or traveling with this band, like how I said we took a couple months off, Daniel's going to be set with a solid Daniel Heitz band tour. Oxford Nolan's going to be playing, Bucky's going to be traveling. I can play with my other band. It's really just show people what you got and what it is. Lay it out for them. Also, I don't know how detailed you're trying to get in like nitty gritty of like ad campaign stuff. I'm very, we do Facebook ads, and I think that's worked the best for us. At first, like, we've been very lucky with this band, where everyone agrees that we need to put money into promoting our shows. So we started out with like $100 a show, with promoting that show. The next tour we had, we started with $200 a show. The next tour we had, we got a medical marijuana sponsorship, so we bumped up the budget a little bit.
Hell yeah.
But like, we've been able to try to get, and it's just marketing is like marketing funnel. You got awareness, engagement, conversation, conversion, whatever. Just make people aware of your music and what you're doing first. So I don't know. I'm a big fan on these videos we're trying to put out, of live performance videos, because it's a great way to show somebody what we can do. And then you can put some money behind it and show even more people that don't know who you are, what you can do. You and I probably need to have like a sit down chat on the side about all this to figure out some other things, because it gets too detailed,
It gets tricky trying to figure out like what ads are performing where and what demographics are responding versus what other ones aren't responding, and then figure out how to reallocate the budget to find like to the demographics that are working. And it's a full-time job just keeping track of the ads themselves. And then on top of that, you're doing that. If you're going on the road, you're probably doing that for every city that you're hitting, right, in the surrounding areas. And then you got to be on top of all that. So it's just wild. It's great that you guys have like an agency now that's going to help you on the booking side. But it's wild to be like on that side with the booking and then with the marketing stuff, and then you have to still be creative and write, and then manage the tour, right? So you got to like make sure you're getting to the places on time, and logistically where you're staying, allocating your budgets to make sure that you're able to afford just being on the road, like getting lodging and gas and food and all that stuff. Being on top of that, and then showing up to a gig, and then like seeing, do we have pre-sales? Are people, walking at the door? What's that? What do those numbers look like on each side of it? How can we, shift it to one on the next time around? And then at the end of the day, how am I supposed to sit here and perform if we got 10 people in the room when I know that this show costs me, cheers, boys.
Sorry, getting after over here.
It's all
I
good.
feel you, bro.
Yeah, you got to put on a show for people when you see 10 people in the room. When your overhead on that one show might have been, $500 easy,
Every day is a show, bud.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yeah,
That's the
show
way
up.
I look at it.
Show up.
See, we're really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's.
I
Every day's
feel
a
you.
show.
I love you to death. I really do. But yeah, he gets way too in his head about all this stuff before he goes on, and it's just like.
Because I got to be on top of it all beforehand, so you just think about that kind of stuff.
Bro,
when
I'll
you-
play the
Daniel knows I do
exact.
that shit too.
I'll play the exact same at a Mellow Mushroom that I will at a festival.
Yeah, I know.
Like every time. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't really.
You know your assignment.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Good way to put it, Dan. Yeah, absolutely.
But I get it. It gets in your head and everything like that for sure. Because you just want it to work out so badly. But
Or just make sure that you can get a return on your investment and see results.
no,
feel like-
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, it's hard.
You guys feel that you guys notice that dynamic too? Do you get stressed about that kind of stuff when you're on the road, Chuck, or just playing gigs in general?
Well, I think Dan. Yeah,
You go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say I've noticed with Chuck. I think that's why we kind of found a new person to do booking stuff because I watched when he was wearing a lot of hats, he was getting a little stressed out.
Yeah.
When he was wearing the managerial hat, when he was wearing, just doing all those different hats and having to play guitar too, it gets a little stressful, and I could see that.
Yeah, totally.
So we're lucky to have like a good group of people around us, and we've made it a point to expand the team and try to have some content capturers. That's what the kids are calling them these days. So I'm getting hip. Content capturers. That's
right.
what they call photographers and videographers nowadays.
That's right.
We try to document as many of our shows as possible. We got the full recording rig, split snake situation. So we do a lot of that in house. You know what I mean? If Bucky's not mixing our stuff, it's our good friend Dakota that runs sound for us at Tuffy's. We got Bucky's girlfriend Megan does a lot of the videography. We've had Max Bresson from the Psychedelic Monks film some of our shows.
Hell yeah.
And we got a bunch of GoPros and put a bunch of tripods, and then I edit all the videos. Like we try to keep as many things as in house. Expanding with your team is really good and important. But just because you get a booking agent doesn't mean all of a sudden you're making more money.
No,
or getting
totally.
better shows. We're still having to work just as hard, and it's still getting on the phone. Talking to these guys and making sure you're all on the same page with the same agenda. But yeah, Daniel knows I get stressed out before shows. I get stressed out if I see people ripping shots before shows, or
Don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, after the show.
Not that it was
after
me. It
the
wasn't
show.
me. But
Because there's also a responsibility.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And we've been in enough bands and enough bar gigs and enough situations where, we're getting lit up and just playing music locally with our friends. We got Tuesday nights at Take Rays to be able to do that if we want to. But also, luckily, we use that as our sectional, and we got an awesome gig in a basement bar downtown Orlando every Tuesday for the last 8 years. It's really provided an awesome place for us to hone out our skills, and that's where Daniel and I first started playing together.
Yeah, I was actually I wanted to ask about that. I walked into that club back, it must have been 2016 maybe, 2015. And then we were playing, it was a different band at the time. We were playing at Back Booth when it was still there. And then we had gotten done with our gig, and we walked across the street and walked into the Groove Orient playing. You were doing that Schofield tune, Hottentot. And I was like,
dope.
dope, bro. This band's fucking phenomenal. They're crushing it, playing dope music. This is a great vibe here. And then I always wanted to go back ever since then. How long, Dan, have you been in the mix with that situation? And is that where the convergence of you guys came in?
Yeah, I started doing that gig. I think I was 19
What?
or 20. Wasn't even old enough to drink.
Youngin'.
Yeah, man. I started playing that, and I was doing it with Timothy Erie for a little while, a psychedelic rock band from here in Orlando. And then they kind of fell off that gig and didn't want to do it anymore, so the Daniel Heitz band took it over. I did it for probably 3 or 4 years. In that time period, the Groove Orient had run its course to a certain extent, and Chuck I knew he had some time on his hands, so I asked him to come do Wednesdays with me. So we started doing every Wednesday for probably a year or two.
Yeah, it was this Groove Warrant was still happening.
Was it? Yeah.
Daniel's old guitarist John Dorney went to school. He was also a phenom freaking guitar player that our keyboard player in the Groove Warrant, Thomas Shugart, was his teacher.
Hell yeah.
So then this kid John Dorney, he's making an awesome name for himself here in Orlando.
Shout out John Dorney.
Brilliant dude. Papa D, shout out Papa D. And he went to Berkeley for a guitar, and this kid absolutely shreds. He's back now. But I saw Daniel having a couple people come in and try to fill those shoes or fill that void. And I was like, dude, we played Tuesdays with the Groove Warrant. Daniel played Wednesdays. I was like, dude, I'll leave my stuff here, and I'll learn all your songs. And that's I was always kind of just played my role in the Groove Warrant. I never knew how to lead a band. And from sitting in the back corner and backing up Daniel for like a year and a half, that was really how I learned how to kind of lead the charge as like a frontman guitarist, I guess. And that's
I grew up doing the whole blues jam thing for years, and that's the hat I had to wear. Learning how to, manipulate the band on the spot and do that whole thing. It's a role you have to learn, and it's something that not everybody knows how to do.
Totally.
I didn't know how to do it, so then I was doing that
Throwing
with
up
Dan.
fingers and the whole nine.
Throwing up, down, all around. He's doing sign language karate on the stage of directing this
Two hits.
the band what to do.
Oh yeah.
And then after the Groove Warrant split up, that's when I started playing tanks with the trio and trying to start practicing that on my own. And that kind of is how Daniel and I, we know each other's licks. Like he plays with me in my band, I play with him in his band. And then now we'll go and play a Steeln Peaches set at night, but then we'll either do a set of our own music or a collaborative set where we'll go back and forth. So we try to get the original music in there as often as we can with the Steeln Peaches stuff. But that's kind of where we started playing, and it was kind of just like this chemistry and this mutual respect of each other. He saw what we were doing with the Groove Warrant. I saw what he was doing with his fingers, and I was like, yo, let's
Sounds a little weird, but
we need to hang out. And it's been cool and it's been crazy, but also like it's like weird to think that we're different in age too. You know what I mean? We're like in different life spots. So like a lot of times I'll bust Daniel's balls, but then I'll be like, dude, I was Daniel right at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So, so it definitely makes me, I know exactly where he's at, and it's really cool that now we can, keep growing as musicians together. It's unbelievable, man. We're lucky.
yeah, we are.
I like how Dan was like when you were like different in age, and Dan's like, yeah, big time.
Daniel.
Yeah, I'm what, 26, and you're what, 32?
32. Thank you, Daniel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me and
Make
Tony,
you feel old.
are what, like 3 months apart?
Yeah,
it's
like-
like weird.
Billy's 3 months older than I am. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that he's 3 months older than I
3
am.
months, like for
Yeah.
fuck's sake.
Yeah,
All right,
older.
young buck.
Yeah.
You guys are like twins coming out and be like, I'm older than you.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's a twin. She does that all the time. She's like literally 2 minutes older than her brother, and she plays that card every time. Yeah, man, I love it. So, Daniel, what's kind of the setup with your band? What kind of music are you guys writing and playing?
So, I've always, like I said, I grew up doing blues and stuff, and I really grew to love the whole jam band thing. So I think a lot of my music is kind of a combination of southern rock and blues and the jam band thing. Also, when I was growing up, started going to festivals and seeing people like Dopapod and, even Papadocio and some of these people using more like, synth sounds and electronic kind of flavor to it that I like as well. Just pull up something that's pretty cool. We're doing Jamberg in about a month with Spafford, P Groove, and Eggy, actually. Daniel Heitz band will be doing.
Fuck yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool. That's in Leesburg. Check that out. It's called Jamberg. So
It's in like a baseball field. It's going to be sick.
yeah, it's
Whoa,
gonna be pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I've been seeing Eggy on a lot of stuff coming up recently. They were just at the Poorhouse recently, and are they out of Charleston or where are they out of?
I have no clue.
No, yeah,
No
but
clue.
yeah, that's just great. You're getting to play with guys like that are on the up and up and everything, man. Are you guys have any music out? Or are you guys going to be putting any music out?
We should be.
Yeah. Yes.
We're building this studio space where you should be.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that with Steeln Peaches and everything like that, because all the, I don't want to say copyright infringement and everything like that. How do you even record a? You can't, right? Well, like
You can't sell it.
You can't sell it.
No, you can. You can acquire mechanical rights.
Oh, really?
It's like 99 cents per song that you're going to lease, but per unit, I believe. I just have to refresh my memory. I did go over this. It might be like 9 cents per unit per song. So say you're doing a 10-track album, it might cost you $900 for like 100 units or something like that. But with Spotify, all the major record labels pay a blanket license to Spotify. So if you look at like Joe Russo's Almost Dead, they got a bunch of live shows up there, and all of the rights to that music is already covered by these blanket licenses that these record labels are already paying.
Okay, so then you guys don't have to worry about paying those fees up front. They just collect on the back end.
Yeah, you're basically
By like ASCAP or something? Like ASCAP pays them out?
Well, yeah, who pays them out?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Performance rights royalties.
Who knows where the money comes from?
And doesn't
So
care.
I think there might be more of an awareness situation, with giving people something so they can become more aware of your band.
Yeah, of course.
For them to come to live performances. That is a slippery slope that I would like to dive more into,
Yeah.
to make, and definitely need to consult a entertainment lawyer to make sure everything is appropriate, and we're not trying to just be playing and putting out someone else's music without them getting what they deserve. They were the masterminds that wrote that and created that. But definitely, I know bands like Blackberry Smoke have gone and recorded some cover albums. I want to go up to Capricorn and make and record there, where the Allman Brothers did record a handful of their records and do live videos and stuff, and make like a record there, if we were going to do that and actually acquire those rights to be able to do that.
Right,
I think that'd be great. I'm a huge fan of nugs.net, and I've always wanted to know, because they pay out their artists kind of the same way as Spotify, but you can also like download their stuff. But a lot of them are covers, like or jams of covers and stuff like that. So I was just curious, is that like an option for you instead of just like releasing your live material that way?
And keep in mind when you're answering this question that we will say this is factually true, and we will hold you accountable for your answer on this.
I'm just wondering.
I
He went to Berkeley. I can ask him a question. Come on.
I'm going to be on an Instagram or TikTok reel with all my words spelled out one by one.
Yeah, that's,
100%.
That's me doing
biting
that.
my tongue in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll go viral like our last TikTok did.
This guy's an idiot.
Yeah, as my lawyer, let me know which way I should be going as a cover band.
I have to preface with, I am not a lawyer, but I believe that's something you'd be able to do through Spotify and put out your records that way.
Yeah.
But also, like, I've been through the experience in the Ringer back with the Groove Orient, where I went to see the Roots with Harry, our bass player and singer, and they walked out on stage to a Groove Orient song at the House of Blues like the day before New Year's out here. And we were like, oh, Disney owes us money. They're playing our song. Yeah. Dude, oh my God, videotape this. This is crazy. We never registered that song with ASCAP or BMI.
Oh.
So it's like, doesn't.
Go ask the mouse for
We're
your
just
money,
young
I'm
and
sure.
dumb, and it doesn't matter anyway. We thought something, but you gotta definitely have your ends covered. There's a lot, like you're saying, embracing the hyphen. It's also like, it's tough to know how to get paid for releasing music too.
Definitely. Just I always tell everybody that asks me, because just people do ask me because we do this podcast, we've released some music and stuff like that. So people think that I'm like a guru on this shit, which is not the case at all. But the one thing that I can say is that like just make sure you're covered on the publishing and the writing side of it. Like register your music with yourself with ASCAP or BMI or CSAC, whoever it is. Register with a company, with a royalty collection agency, and just make sure that you own your writing. And then if you're not with a publisher, make sure you own your publishing, and just then that way if anything does happen, you at least get paid for it. If nothing else gets covered, at least that.
What could possibly happen?
Yeah.
We blow up on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which
I
TikTok
feel you,
famous.
man, and like things like Music Exchange too. There are a couple different outlets you gotta go through to make sure you're collecting all your royalties. Ari Herstand does a great job of that. I'm a big fan of him. I just am nerdy like that. I just want to know the answers. But I agree, man. It's important to have everything covered.
Our boy down in Orlando, Chris G, with his podcast Making It with Chris G, which I've been.
He was a good mentor of mine for a while.
Yeah, you're actually the one that told me about his podcast, and we were talking. Yeah, we were talking. It was probably a couple of years ago now. I think you were just coming out of school or in the midst of it all. We were kind of at that time just talking about stuff regularly, actually, and that was one of the things that had come up. You were telling me about his podcast, and I was so I made a point to go and listen to it, and he had somebody on his podcast recently that was I guess part of artist development for a label. I can't remember what the label was, but her big thing was kind of just like what we've been hammering on this whole episode is the being a multi-faceted artist. Like what labels are looking for now is an artist that has the other enterprise. Like it's not just about being a performer or about being a writer. Now it's like, well, do you have another business that we can kind of capitalize on and help?
Can you dance?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that she talked about was a podcast, or was like, just literally, it could be any business. They literally signed somebody. I forget exactly what the business was, but it was totally unrelated to music and entertainment in any capacity. But they signed him because he was a decent writer and because he had like a business that was already worth like $1 million or something. So just because he had that, they were like, well, we can leverage that, or at least we can figure out a way to, put it into, make it part of your music enterprise. So labels are looking for that kind of stuff. And I'm just, that was a big thing with listening to his podcast. It's very informative,
Definitely. How do you feel about that, Daniel?
Sure.
I think it's definitely important, and you see that with like you have to have something going on before you get anybody's attention, or it's not like you're gonna walk into the whiskey, and you're gonna see the next biggest rock band. It's not like, or the Troubadour, and see the next biggest rock band or whatnot. How they did back in LA back in the days. You have to have something going on, and that's why I think it's really important to keep track of everything you do have going on, like tour histories and documenting every show, how many people come, what you're kind of doing, so you have the data to be able to utilize and leverage to grow. You want to make sure you're growing too. You want to make sure you don't have 50 less people than last time at Jacksonville you played, or ideally when you're big time, 200 less or 1,000 less or whatnot,
if you can't tell, Chuck likes doing spreadsheets for fun.
Yeah.
So does this guy, dude. I swear to
I've
God.
gotten into that from all this school and work and stuff, but my wife definitely helps us out with, she wants to make sure that the band's on the right track.
I literally sat down on the last tour that we did. I made a pretty extensive spreadsheet just about, all the shit. And I sat down and was so proud of the spreadsheet that I just, like the next day, I just looked at it for like an hour and was just like, I really killed this spreadsheet.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chuck sent us a what, bi-yearly review.
Biannual review.
Yeah.
I like that.
A
That's a
whole
good idea.
spreadsheet and with merch,
For
with
6 months
everything,
of
like pie
shows.
charts and whatnot. It was sick.
I love that,
for
bro.
6 months of shows, everything that came in, everything that went out, where it's all going, like how much we're paying, band member payout, staffing for like booking and video, whatever. Trying to be on top of it, because like this is what I want to do. You're not gonna, this is like we're running our own little business. We happen to just be having the best time of our lives, while we're doing it.
Totally.
So like it's worth the work, If that's what you want to do, you'll freaking put like. I don't mind putting in that work, because this is all I want to do, and I just had my first real job, and it was an excellent, incredible experience, and it definitely helped me realize that like I want to do this.
Totally.
So
that's amazing, man.
Well, maybe to kind of get away from this for a little bit. You got any like?
yeah, let's get back to something else. Like
I was just gonna say.
Yo, Anton, we'll jump on weekly calls, bro. Don't worry, I got you, dude.
I get it. You got to be serious about your business.
Yeah.
This is a business.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's not
This
fun.
isn't for fun
This isn't for
anymore.
fun anymore. We're adults. We're men.
Yeah.
Listen, this is serious. We got 12 pre-sales.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta be serious. We got tightened up. No drinking.
Yeah. 100%.
No drinking.
So true, bro.
But
Sorry, I get a little serious sometimes,
No,
guys.
it's
My
okay.
bad, my
It's
bad.
okay. I'm just
We
you know,
spent $500 in ads, and we got 12 people here.
Yeah.
This is serious.
This
Story
is
of my
this is
fucking life.
no. This is just why I'm here. You know what I mean? I'll reel you
So,
in. I want
So did you ask them did you want to ask what their favorite color was? Or?
No.
I'm really here to give you a harder time.
I want to know some stories from the road. Like I want to know like some crazy shit that you've gotten into with Steeln Peaches or like just
We
personally.
signed NDAs. We can't do that.
No, come on. You got to tell them something.
See, you got to have your business tight, Billy.
right,
we got
Bill.
NDAs in this shit.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
I'm just kidding,
No,
man.
no. You got one check? I don't know. I'm kind of blanking
Yeah,
right now.
David Venegas threw my head into a brick wall downtown Athens one time because I was just being a dingus on the day off from a show.
What?
What'd you say to him?
Probably I
lots of
loved him
things.
too much or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he went longboarding down a mountain one time in Colorado and face planted into that mountain and broke his nose the day before a show. What else? What's some crazy stories we've had on this tour or with this band? This band is so new, and we are just now getting into touring more frequently. We've really done a lot of go there, come home, go there, come home, and maybe just market it as if we're just living in a van, but we're always touring, we're always playing, but it's like we're about to start touring a little bit more extensively and going out of the state.
So you
with
never
the help of
Stories
this
to come. Stories to come, I guess is what he's saying.
we still have incredible stories.
I don't know if I could say a lot of that stuff on the internet.
What
I'd
is-
want to.
You go.
I
You
don't know.
probably
I
got
don't
better
know.
ideas than me. Oh. Wait, we got some stories.
What?
But yeah, they're like definitely inappropriate.
That's fine. That's what we live for.
That's what we're here for, guys. Let's talk about it.
I don't know.
Chuck,
man.
dude, you're putting us on the spot, man. I don't know if I like
I don't want to be
this.
throwing nobody under the bus because that's the.
You maybe just
You
chop
go
out
first.
names. I don't have one, dude. I'm not trying to
you're-
incriminate
yeah.
myself like
See,
that.
we got brothership going on over here.
We can do dramatizations where you guys just don't name the names or change the names
Yeah.
for the sake of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well,
You're
I know
Brenda
our
and
one of our
Karen for
first
this one.
shows. One of our first shows, we couldn't find one of the band members.
Wait, one of your band members or somebody else?
Yeah, we
One
went
of
on
our
set
band
break.
members.
We went on set break
We've
and we
only
couldn't
played
find them.
shows with ourselves. We played a show with one other band one time, and it was at Fernandina Beach. We usually just go in and it's just us. We do 2 sets, and it's sweet. We don't have to move anything.
But so one of the
cool.
people in the band couldn't be found.
One
And
guy can't be found, and we're like up there, like all playing instruments, and he goes, "Oh my god, I heard you guys playing," and I freaked out. We're like, "Where were you?" He's like, "I don't know. I met this girl." I was in her
He
car.
was
I
on the
like,
side of the
set break?
building.
How long do you need? Like,
on the side of the building getting favors.
Oh.
Wait, where in
From a
Fernandina?
young lady.
Where in Fernandina
no,
Beach?
this is
How
this
young
is-
are we
so
talking
this-
here?
No,
this
hang
is in
on.
Fernandina.
This was last year. This was last year.
Oh wow. What?
If you
Yeah.
know the band, you can know like there's half the band's married, so it really narrows down.
Yeah, there's only 2 of us that could possibly be, and it wasn't.
It was Daniel.
would-
No, I'm just.
You would hope that it was one of the unmarried people for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'd be in
Jesus, come
trouble.
on,
We don't
Anton.
need that, man. We don't need that.
So we got some wild childs in the band. Some other crazy stories. Dan,
I don't know, man. I'm blanking.
everything's either illegal or just like so wrong. So like, I've got now that the groove warrant's over, I can totally talk about all those stories. But
You got one? Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's
You
hear
guys
it,
like
bro.
Russian
Talk about
bathhouses
it.
a lot.
oh, that wasn't me
Ooh,
with the
let's
Russian
hear that
bathhouse.
story.
We used to we went to New York a couple times, and I always parallel parked the van right in front of the venue. I always knew there was going to be spots, but that van would live in that parking lot for that parking spot for 2 or 3 days because we would all just leave it and go around the city with all of our other friends that live there, and we'd all just be like, "Hey, someone move the van every 4 hours, or else we'll get a ticket."
Nice.
So like we did a lot of living up in there. Man, it's just some of the shit you wouldn't believe, or some of the shit you just couldn't imagine was real.
It's a fun time, man. We have a blast, and yeah, it's just we're all best friends, so that helps a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
those are some great stories.
Tell me, Billy. Yeah,
Sorry,
we can
dude,
tell you a
I know,
single
I
story.
know.
Billy,
Listen,
tell
man.
me an example of what
what are
you're
you
looking
looking
for.
for?
It might spark my memory or something here.
Okay.
Tell me something that Anton did that is like super you don't want to talk about, but you have to.
He's pretty straight and narrow. Like so straight and narrow, it's just
Seems like it.
boring, honestly. But at the same time, like we played some really, really bad gigs. Like just like that's kind of what I was getting at. That's probably the
We've
the
all
question.
been
All
there.
right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
okay,
So
go.
maybe I'll rephrase my
Reframe the
question.
question. Yeah, reframe.
What's the worst gig you've ever played, Chuck and Dan?
Ooh, you go first.
I remember me and Chuck did a duo gig at a at what was that place called? It's Gene Simmons Bar.
Gene Simmons Bar.
Oh my God, dude. No, so he owns like it's called like some.
It's
I
Rock and
don't want to
Brews,
say
Rock and
whatever
Brews,
it
that's
is.
it,
We'll
Rock
say
and
it's
Brews.
Gene Simmons Bar.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. Orlando. There's a lot
Edit that
of
out,
corporate
beep that.
work and weird
Yeah.
shit going on. We don't want to throw
We'll
anybody
cut
under
it
the
in post for sure.
Yeah.
So we were playing, and I had just tore my ACL skateboarding.
bus. Dude, he's like, "You want to do this gig with me?" He just tore his ACL. I didn't know I was loading in for both of us just so
And-
he could play the gig.
And, well,
my
listen,
God.
that wasn't why I wanted you to be there with me, buddy. I love you. But so we're loading in, and I had been taking medication for my leg or whatnot, and we drank a little bit.
What are you talking about? This gig sucked. We were drinking. We were so pissed off. People were buying us these red-looking little shots and drinks.
Yeah.
They thought we were the greatest thing since sliced bread. 2 people only. Everyone else didn't care. It's like when you're at the whatever the taco bar, wherever you might be playing, and no one cares about the music, but you're there to
Sports bar.
collect your
Your paycheck.
$150.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Like the standard going rate for 3-hour solo gigs these days.
But so we're
Totally.
playing, and I probably should have read read the bottle on the medication. Probably shouldn't have been drinking with the medication I was on.
Bro,
And Chuck,
I'm pissed because I brought a whole PA, all my gear. Daniel just crutches in and starts drinking. Yo, you got booger, my
got
boy.
booger, you can't see it on the camera,
So
so we're
cute.
good.
We're family here, transparency.
Yeah.
So then Daniel's over there on his crutches. I'm like, get me a damn beer, bro. Come on, I need a beer. So we're just boozing at this gig. I'm pissed because I'm sweating now. It's like a 4-hour gig. We had bad communication. We were doing it for a friend. And then by the end of the gig, we're like pretty. And it was like raining, and we're getting rained on. It's a terrible. It's a terrible
It was a bad
toll
gig.
on the soul venue gig.
Toll on the Soul menu. I've never heard Toll on the Soul before. I love that.
Bro, it was tragic. So we play this gig. We're waiting to get paid. They're telling us how they don't know if they can pay us.
Oh, that's the
Like
best.
this, that, the other. While we're like, but while we find out, do you want a beer or a shot? And we're like, yeah, beer and a shot. So then
Here we
Daniel's on this medication. It's like COVID or something going on.
Yeah,
He's
we
got
had
a torn
masks
ACL. It's definitely COVID because you had the gator neck.
Yeah, I had the gator neck.
He had
thing.
the gator neck pullover thing,
All of a sudden, I felt the alcohol decide to come back up. The first thing I could think about to
Bro.
do, because I can't run anywhere, was to pull the gator mask up.
Oh my
Pulled the
God.
gator mask up, dude, and it was projecting like through
Not
the
good. We don't need to give a
the
visual.
gator mask. Like, dude, I can't handle that. So I start being like like
So we're both almost throwing up all over this.
all
bar.
of a sudden we're waiting to get paid, and both of us are like,
Oh my God.
there's puke everywhere.
It was not good.
I can't think about it.
Yeah, he's literally. He
man.
had to give me one of his Chuck Magid shirts to wear on the
Daniel's
ride
wearing a
home.
double extra large white shirt with my face on it.
Oh my God.
And then I still had to load out all the shit
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
in the rain.
Yes, there you
And
go.
then
There's
it
your bad
smelled
gig
like
story.
puke all up in my stuff, bro. It was bad.
I love it, bro.
That was
But
a
we
good
still
one.
love each other. It's all
We
good,
still love
dude.
each other.
Yeah.
I had a similar situation where I went and saw Dead and Company one time on a Tuesday before I played at Tanqueray's, and you know what? I shouldn't have been playing guitar after that show. Hands down, one of the most scary moments of my life because it was also the most packed Tanqueray's show I ever played. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah.
But from all those experiences, I feel like I've learned a pretty good lesson.
Yeah.
And we went a pretty good stint in this band, Steeln Peaches, before we had any kind of incidents like that. And we had one incident where maybe a couple of us like had a little bit too much, and then but then we all and for a second set situation, but we buckled up. We all talked about. And now we're getting a little
It goes
tighter.
back to the transparency thing.
Gets back to the transparency where there's like responsibility. People are paying their hard-earned money. The economy sucks. People are coming to see you play, and they're paying to come see you. We have a responsibility to provide an experience for them. I don't want to be drunk or like devalue that or take advantage of that.
the
So
respect for the music. You
I
gotta be
mean,
respectful.
went through that experience and was in high school and college bands where that was the deal. But I mean, we have a good ass time, but we just definitely wait till after the show now a little bit more than we used to.
No medication, no gator mask.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I definitely waiting till after the show is the way to go. I can't remember
sure.
a scenario with this band.
And I'm driving every night, so I definitely am kind of like, you know,
And I
everybody.
don't think it was from like people. There's no malintent. It was just people you're on set break and people buying you shots and being like, "Yo, let's hang out."
People want
shit
to
happens.
hang out and drink with you. You know, we had an experience after our show in Union Hall. We were driving there from Boca, and we stopped in the middle of nowhere on some road. I'm like, "What y'all get at the gas station?" I got frisbee and a flambongo, which is one of those beer bong flamingos.
Oh my god.
A flambongo, yeah. That's
everyone knows
common.
what-
Everybody knows what that is.
Yeah.
This is Florida. Everyone knows what a flambongo is.
That's a great fucking band name if it ain't already.
Oh my god, yeah, it is actually.
For sure.
Doom flambongo.
Fuck yeah.
So we are chilling. Obviously, before the gig, you know, we're ripping a little flambongo. You know, after the gig, like we had a great gig. So I got great video footage of Daniel. You know, we just collect all this stuff for the Justice video, like down the line,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
documentary. Not like in the moment, but Daniel rips a flambongo, and he's got a shot trying to get in the car to leave. I'm trying to get everybody in the car so I can drive him home. We get down, like we're not even 0.5 miles down the road. It's not even Daniel. One of our other band members is like, "Oh, I don't feel good. Oh, stop going on the bumps." I'm like, "It's a train track. I can't I'm like driving here." And then all the way, I'm like, "Do you want me to pull over?" And now he's like, "Stop talking. I'm getting my mind off of it. Stop talking to me." And all of a sudden, from the far back row in the van, you just hear this other band member go, "Pull over."
Oh my god.
Completely different scenario. This guy in the back beelines it inside. Everyone else goes inside to try to get some kind of food because we're stopping. We come back. The other guy already puked everywhere. We got some good stories. We rage.
See, this is what
After the
This is
show.
what happens. This is why we
After
didn't
the
want to
show.
say anything at first because it just will keep
We
going.
got stories, man, but we're also when it's time for us to do what we're there to do, we definitely try to do it to the best of our ability. You know what I mean?
sure.
Respecting
Totally.
the music.
And
you know?
playing some fast, crazy shit licks. We're learning some songs that are like
Yeah.
Kind of Bird by the Brothers is like this crazy chromaticism song that they wrote in memory of Charlie Parker. Stuff like From the Madness of the West is some old 80s Allman Brothers, and there's only like one video of them on YouTube playing that. It's crazy, but that's back in the 80s. They're
As the
playing
guitar
fast.
players-
Yeah.
As the guitar players in this stuff, we got to be on our shit. We
Yeah,
can't
so, we just want to make sure we're having as much fun as we possibly can, but being safe and also doing what we're there to do, you know?
I think
How about you guys? Give me something that Billy's done. It's dirty.
Bro, Billy likes to talk a big game about how I'm the straight and narrow one. This dude
Straight
doesn't
and
do
narrow.
shit on the road.
That's because I did it all in my 20s, kid.
Yeah,
I don't need to anymore.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
so talk about some of your days with Lucky Costello.
Sounded like Adam Sandler right there.
I don't know. I always like to talk about. Did you ever, Chuck? Did you ever play the Bahia Cabana down in what's it called? No, not Fort Lauderdale. No, I think it was at Fort Lauderdale. It's this old 70s hotel. Anyways, they had bands there from
Sounds
time to
awesome.
time. It looks straight out of like Hunter S. Thompson, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But we played a show there. I think I've told you this story where we're like deep into like a 30-minute, 45-minute long electronic jam. We know we're gonna go into it with Lucky Costello, and we're like maybe 5 minutes into it, and this girl in front of us just gets a little bit crazy because we had friends down there who would bring. They thought it would be fun to just bring nitrous tanks, and they would have them around the pool area, and they were
Well, was it not?
They were, yeah, it was great, but they were hiding. They were hiding behind like bushes and stuff like that, like thinking that like in broad daylight. By the way, this is like maybe like 3:00 in the afternoon. This was in like a nighttime deal, and it was in a public hotel. But so I think one girl had a little bit too much fun or whatever. Didn't know what she was getting into, and she just jumped up in the air. And then just came straight down on her leg and just snapped it, right?
Oh, my
I know.
Ooh, no.
All right, but we are 15 minutes into a choice fucking jam. What do, Tony?
You keep the jam going.
You keep playing.
Yeah.
You have
you
to
don't
keep
stop.
playing. So we were recording.
Dude.
We were recording the same way that y'all do at our live shows and everything like that, because it's a lot of improv and everything like that. And listening back to it, you just hear her going, just screaming her fucking head off. And we just kept playing, and like everybody was kind of like dancing, but didn't really know what to do. And then like sure enough, like she's just there, like she's like, don't move. Everybody, like a couple people were like kind of like you stay over there. We're gonna just move the whole crowd to the left. And EMTs came while we're playing.
Oh my god!
Like right in front of us, and put her on like a one of those backboards or whatever, and took her off. And it really kind of ruined the whole vibe, I will say.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a damper.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
don't
As
maybe
it,
don't
as
do
it would,
nitrous.
as it would, yeah.
Yeah.
Lesson learned: don't do nitrous in the daytime. You know, that's
Yeah.
a nighttime.
Yeah.
That's a nighttime drug for sure.
Yeah.
is.
Totally illegal, so I can't be incriminated with that, right?
We had a dangerous situation at Tank Rays earlier this year where I turned around. I was jamming with this band,
I told you.
and Daniel and Bucky started yelling at somebody behind me because, you know, we put up stuff around the stage so people can't get up there and mess with our stuff. It's kind of like, you know, your happy place and your sanctuary. This dude jumped up over the barricade of dead cases and was all up on my mic, like licking my mic. And
Licking
Really,
it?
like he was
this,
like up
lollipop
on my
lick,
stuff.
like,
And
what the fuck?
just in my personal
What?
space, I definitely felt like threatened. And yeah, I launched this dude right off stage into the dead cases. And then
Then we all jumped on him. I
No,
had my guitar on, throwing fists.
him and
with
I
one
made
hand.
eye contact, and he had his whiskey glass in his hand, and I saw him cock back to throw the whole whiskey glass at me. So I dropped the Stratocaster and just Goldberged him, dude. Feet in the air, horizontal, took him off the stage. And when you say the show must go on, Bucky was right on that drum solo.
Yeah.
Bucky's drum soloing, throws a stick at the guy,
Yeah.
keeps going.
I love it.
But it was a scruff there for a minute. I got sliced up pretty good, bit my cheek when I hit the ground on him. But got up somehow. There was a guy on with my guitar. I got up and was out of tune. But I didn't mention word of what just happened, and we played another hour, 15 minutes straight without taking a break, and
Hell yeah.
just
That
security
kid
got him
way
out of
more
there.
that kid got way more than he thought he was gonna get from licking a microphone.
But
Yeah.
it's just like,
Who
man,
licks a
like, we're-
microphone?
So weird.
It's like we're
It's just
down
some
there
drunk
doing
frat
our
kid.
thing, like just like, come on, like just that's an example of like drunk people definitely getting on your nerves a little bit.
We had
But in a dive bar setting, it was a little bit more appropriate. You won't catch that at a Steeln Peaches show.
Yeah, we won't be
Yeah.
throwing
It's-
hands at a
No,
people.
not at all.
definitely
This
different.
is in the past. Nothing new is going to happen.
Well,
without
I mean,
that.
plenty of therapy has helped that situation.
I'm in a
you
program.
know,
Yeah.
so-
There was one incident that I had when we were playing at a bar gig. It was a dive bar situation, and
Was I with you?
yeah, I think you were there
Where?
that night. It was at Shores.
Oh.
He was either right before.
Yeah, Shores will do it.
Yeah, it was either right before you joined the band or like right when you joined the band. But somebody was like, this dude was hammered. He starts coming up to my mic stand like while I'm singing in it, and he starts like smacking the mic stand like with his hands. Like he thinks he's being funny.
I wasn't there for this.
Oh, you weren't there for this? And fucking, so at first, like I'm telling him to kind of back up, and he walks away for a second, then he comes back and starts doing it again. And at this point, like it actually like the mic hits my mouth, so I got real fucking pissed, and I just like straight up,
Ooh.
just like full on front kicked him right in the chest, like while I'm still playing like a guitar solo. He just flew back, and his friends like caught him.
Because you do martial
And-
arts or something like that, right?
Yeah, this is before I was doing that though.
Doing a lot of-
So it wasn't as effective. Like, if I would have done that now, it would have been a lot more effective. But I was like holding my guitar and like I was in the middle of a guitar solo. So I kicked him just enough so he would feel it. He fell backwards. His friends caught him. He was so hammered he had no idea what was going on and just thankfully peacefully walked away. But
Oh, man. I know it's scary sometimes. You know, I get worried about some shows not having the security sometimes, and
Personal
you know,
space is a big thing. And
personal
people,
space is a
people
big thing.
think
The
that they can just
stage,
do
you
that
don't
shit.
jump on the stage. I saw that one time at Bear Creek or something. A dude jump up on stage and naked and face planted in front of this incredible band, and just like you're taken away from everybody else that's trying to enjoy the moment. It's crazy.
It reminds me of like comedians with people heckling and stuff. You know?
it's
Yeah.
very much.
That's extreme heckling, though.
Yeah.
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 It's
you know when you mix drugs and alcohol.
I
and
had
stuff, you know?
a lady flip my keyboard over
when.
Oh my
at
gosh.
TSI, the old TSI in
Oh my
Jacksonville
God.
on Crunchy Sunday when dubstep was all the rage. But yeah, she flipped my virus over.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's probably why I act so weird sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I don't
probably.
even know why. I don't even know what the deal was. I really don't. She was angry at like I think she was having a fight with her boyfriend or something like that. Just took it out on my synthesizer.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
I was so mad. I wasn't playing, by the way. I was watching it like it was all set up and ready to play, and then later on we were gonna play or whatever. But she was doing it during a DJ set or something like that, and then just went on stage and just flipped my keyboard over.
I don't know. People have like no respect sometimes for what we
respect.
do, or just like the our instruments, or like it's weird, bro. I don't get it. They think because we're having fun, like they just like walk on what we're doing. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's totally disrespectful.
crazy.
I would never imagine doing that to somebody. It's wild.
Totally.
We had an embarrassing moment in Boca last week where we eating dinner right before the gig, and I realized I had like ripped the whole crotch out of my pants.
Oh yeah, it's
Like
that's fun.
the whole crotch, and I didn't have any other pants. And I can't play the gig in shorts.
I thought you were about
I
to
was
say
like so uncomfortable the whole gig. I was just like trying to hide.
I thought you were about to say you didn't have any underwear on. I was like, damn, that sucks,
He
bro.
wasn't.
No, I
he
totally
wasn't
did, dude.
freeballing.
Come
So
on.
like that's. I didn't understand why he was so worried about it. Cause like they're not gonna see nothing. You're not hanging brain or anything.
Yeah,
it was like-
hanging braid.
They had some rips in the jeans, but then it was like bam, like
Yeah,
it was like the lady, all the people front row didn't know what they were getting.
yeah. That's I've had that happen on
That
a
was
corporate.
embarrassing.
gig before.
I've
It's
had it
weird.
happen the other way around. Remember the Roadhouse? We used to play there all the time.
Yeah.
And it was just like this awful, like I don't want to say redneck, but let's be real.
Yeah.
Redneck dive bar that was there, and they just wanted you to not be there. But that one lady, she was there every single time, and
Yeah.
and she was like maybe like early 60s.
That's
I'd
real
say.
generous.
Yeah, and she would
Real
just she would
generous.
just come up to us. There's nobody else. Like I'm telling you, the closest person to us from us playing was at least like 20 yards away.
Yeah.
And then she would just come up to us and then just flash us
Yeah.
every time. And we would just, and then like, and it was always when you played Tom Petty. I remember.
Yeah.
She was like, fucking love Tom Petty. Look at these fucking pancakes.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should have stopped playing Tom Petty, you guys. You kept playing
We
it.
kept playing
Show
Tom
must
Petty.
go on.
I mean,
I
and
think he liked it, is why.
Yeah,
hey,
right,
I'm into some Gilf action. What can I
Oh,
say?
good
you know?
Lord.
Like Young Gravy, dude. He's into that too.
Yeah. Guys, this has been awesome. We got to get to bottom line news and
Yeah.
unpopular opinions.
Yeah,
so
real quick on
Oh.
the music news.
fucking, but it's been awesome having you guys have on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. It's
Yeah,
just an
thanks for
awesome
having
interview.
us.
Guys. Yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you guys.
Very awesome to watch. See everybody you guys are interviewing, and it's inspiring too. So thank you.
Hell yeah, man.
What a nice
Um,
couple of guys.
All right, so bottom line news.
What do you got? What do you got from the headlines?
So
Latido.
this one is less of a news article and more of just kind of an awareness of what's happening in the industry as far as like the A&R stuff. And this is people who aren't familiar. A&R people are kind of like people that go out and scope out talent, and traditionally they've been able to they went to like live performances and shows and like found new up and coming artists, and then would hopefully their mission was to try and sign the next big thing. The argument that's been happening as of lately is that like what their actual value is now, given the climate with social media and just how music is released these days. So the article that I found was just more or less about what the grind of an A&R artist actually is now, and how it's really more intertwined with the marketing side of the industry. So curious as to what you guys think about this. The idea is that A&R guys now, or people now, are just they're kind of skimming social media and finding people that are blowing up in that world, but also still kind of doing the more traditional route. But they're kind of looking for a few different aspects now, because it's less about artist development now when they're signing deals, and it's more about like
View counts and followers, maybe.
to an extent, but more just about how savvy you are on social media. And
Well-
if the music is good, then there's still like there's still like that, like they're predominantly focused on how good the music is and how marketable it is.
I think I don't think that's that crazy at all. Like it's just the way of the times now. Like how else? That's the quickest way to find new artists, right?
Yeah,
it's that caveat that like also we're not just looking for if your music is good or marketable. We're also looking for the other factor of like, can you do TikTok dances well?
Yeah.
Or if you
Yeah, or just how creative you are with your advertising.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so, and are you on top of your analytics, because they're always on top of that kind of stuff, because they want to know that they're protecting their investment, which traditionally A&R people weren't so involved on the marketing side. But now, because the way social media is integrated with everything, they are kind of on top of that. I'm just curious about what everybody else thinks about this, and Chuck, with your education, you might have some more background on what it was traditionally versus what it is now,
I forwarded this article over to Daniel, and I just gotta say that big Dua Lipa fan. It had a bunch of, they were referencing Dua Lipa in this scenario.
They did,
you
yes.
know? And she crushes
yeah.
it. So I mean,
I love
think
her,
that was
yeah.
the story about how she put out so many albums before she finally broke internationally and came over here. And that's
It was
kind of the
8.
idea of like
8 releases. That's insane.
8 albums.
I don't know if it's albums or that's what I was curious about. If it was albums or like
Well, still
or
that's
singles.
pretty crazy. But like I'm like 8 albums until someone figured out.
Yeah.
If it was 8 singles, then that's, I mean, not that it's not impressive, but 8 albums does sound
8 albums sounds insane.
Yeah. But
Especially in a the music industry is saying that the album isn't necessarily the way to release music. It's more music, less music more frequently
exactly.
compared to releasing an album. Us as artists, though, it's like there's this nostalgia of putting together a 44-minute piece of art and perfection, of 22 minutes on each side of a record that really you can sit down and you have to listen to the whole thing. It's a kind of a trip in the journey. But like now, man, I'm definitely partly addicted to scrolling, like I get in the scroll hole. Is that what it's called?
Scroll hole. I love that. Yeah.
100%. A lot of band names
like-
in this podcast for
Yeah.
sure, though.
Man. Yo, if you guys want some band names, I'll have our bass player Glenn send you his notes. He's got a couple hundred for you.
Yeah, so is Bill
Yeah,
over
so
here.
do I.
They're pretty dark too. There's some good ones. There's some bad ones. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think number one is if there's talent, you can recognize that, and that's part of the thing is like Daniel has some serious talent that I want to be able to absorb, and people are like, we're always creating energy. I'm passing on certain energy to him right now. He's passing on certain energy to me. We're passing it on to you. You're passing it on to us. Like you can feel and hear talent, like you can see it, like it's undeniable. When you start to get people to recognize that, that's where the A&R thing really comes into play, is when they can see that talent, and then the record labels or the industry knows how to manipulate that talent into creating somebody a career,
Right.
That's kind of how that's their job, is to find somebody with a gift, whether that is someone that already had $1 million business, like you said earlier, or somebody that can sing like absolutely insane or play guitar out of this world. But they're still looking for talent, whether it's acting or comedy, whatever it may be. Maybe they make great short films or something, But I think looking for good art, and that's why I'm a big fan of people like Jack Conte and Jack Stratton. Jack Conte's from Pomplamoose and Scary Pockets. He also is the CEO of Patreon.
I didn't know that.
That makes
Jack
sense.
Stratton. Yeah, I mean, the guy's a freaking genius. I'm trying to make my little camera studio setup as functional as his
Feel that.
Instagram post of his setup here.
For real.
Jack Stratton from Wolfpack's an absolute genius, and they have all these friends with all this talent, and they're now figuring out how to, leverage that themselves, where they don't necessarily have to go to a record label or a mainstream outlet to be able to put that out there. They're creating platforms that are in the artist's best interest, such as Patreon. And if your thing is like you create the most awesome content, or you're making 8 albums, maybe if Dua Lipa had 8 albums and she had a diehard fan base on Patreon, maybe that's, what is success? That's where you get to what is success? What is it to you? I used to just say, I want to play guitar in a different city every night. And that was my idea of success and what I wanted to do with my life. Over time, some things have changed here and there. You do a couple pivots.
Totally.
But you know, it's like with the whole A&R thing, the game has definitely changed from, like I was mentioning, those famous bars back in the day that A&R guys would just go to in frickin' what is it? West LA. I'm not from LA, but is that where the whiskey was? Where everybody
Whiskey A Go Go.
famous ever played, you know, and they go and break the next biggest band.
I like
If
watching.
you could play there, you were breaking.
Yeah, I like watching. Rewatch Purple Rain because that's like the whole movie. It's like they're gonna kill it this night, and there's gonna be this just A&R guy in the crowd and everything like that. But that's just how it was in the 80s. I suppose.
Well, it's interesting that it's kind of refreshing to hear that kind of still exists, because for a long time people have been talking about that dynamic has gone away. But it's nice to hear that's still happening. And then also, even with the age of social media, that if this article is true, the A&R reps are still looking at predominantly the talent versus the other stuff, because, you know, I think there may have been a lull there with labels and how streaming worked when it was kind of becoming the main thing. There may have been a lull with labels and how they're able to recoup their investment, you know, less artist development, and just kind of the labels are figuring out how they were going to pivot. But now I feel like they've got a better grasp on like how the industry is working now in the modern landscape, and it's kind of going like, okay, well, traditional roles now still exist in the capacity that they did, but now there's just maybe a new element that they might be checking out, like the social media thing for sure. Like, are you savvy on social media? But like, are you also like aware of your numbers, and you know, like how well, you know, just maybe able to market yourself. So it's just one more aspect, just kind of tagging on to the artist thing nowadays, where you have to be multifaceted.
I don't even think that it's tagging on. It's just like one medium died, which was CD sales, and now it's a new one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you could call that tagging on. But like,
Well,
that's
it's
just gone.
As far as
now.
what they're looking for from the artist, there's just one more aspect that they want to see.
Because like, how many times have you like in the 2000s and 90s and stuff like that? An album would come out from like a brand new musician, and you would just buy that album so you could have that one song on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's an old, outdated model, and no one's doing that anymore. So it does make sense that it's giving out singles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Instead of like the whole 45. Just going back to what you were saying about the album stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, I think there's a way to break through the noise, you know, and that's a big thing is you have to break through the noise to get what is going to get you on the cover compared to another band, or what are you going to do to set yourself different from the next band. You know, like the Groove Warrior went through that for a while with like, oh, you guys are just a bunch of young college kids playing jam band music. What's different from you than this, that, the other? Why should I book you, or why should I, you know, what are you doing that's a little bit different? So, you know, whether that's dynamic or if you're like playing some music that's people aren't really playing anymore. I mean, how are you going to break through the noise? But also there are so many more tools now that we can't really sell CDs the way we used to be. You know, like there are a bunch of tools like my buddy here in Orlando started a company called Indiepreneur, which is a DIY independent musician marketing platform where they teach artists how to get real fans through video view campaigns on Facebook and through marketing their shows. They also teach you these different ways to be able to boost your Spotify numbers, and they're teaching you actual marketing. It's not like just like some pyramid scheme situation. They're helping musicians figure out how to do so. And I mean, that's a way to get a lot of people to see your videos. And if the talent's there and the right person sees it, you know, that's only going to get you that much closer to doing what you want to do.
Totally.
So just like, I don't know, and that's a big thing on why I'm focusing on live performance videos. It's representation of us at that point and moment in time. And we're just trying to create some killer looking videos that who knows who's going to see it. You know, maybe that'll just get us one more gig. That's the whole idea.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Love it. You guys want to move on to unpopular opinions?
Sure.
Hell yeah. So sometimes our guests are uncomfortable with this segment, but I mean, I always love this part. This is my favorite part of the show.
It is?
100%.
I thought it was a spreadsheet.
I like the spreadsheets too, but this is my second favorite part of the show then.
Second favorite part of the show.
Spreadsheets are definitely not my favorite part. But
Yeah. All right, so Bill, what you got, bro?
All right, I'm going to try to break your viral video with my unpopular opinion.
Let's see it.
I think Taylor Swift is the problem in all of her songs.
Really?
Yeah, without a doubt.
You think she's the problem in all of her songs, not the guy that's like fucking with her?
No. Like, are you kidding me? Here's why I say that. There have been so many of her songs where it's literally like, this guy did her wrong, this guy did her wrong, this guy did her wrong. How many guys has she got to go through where it's just like everybody else listening to her kind of goes, well, maybe she's the reason why.
You'll have to have her on and unpack that
I'm
one
just
for sure.
saying. I think that it has. There's a point to this.
Dang.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, I don't know.
I just
Sorry.
want to see the. I just want to
No
see the
comment.
other side of the story a little bit.
yeah.
I believe you. I do believe you, but also like maybe.
Maybe she just hasn't had the right guy done her right yet.
Yeah,
You're telling me John Mayer's not the right guy, dude?
I know that's what I'm trying to say. I just don't understand it.
I mean, she's got to be what, like 27, 28
No,
by now?
she's 89. She's the same age as us.
Oh, she's our age.
Yeah.
So she's 30. So and like the right guy hasn't come along by now.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I see what you're saying. I
Yeah,
think
my
I'm
girlfriend's
putting
gonna
down.
kill me for saying
Maybe she's
that.
really focused on work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Yeah.
she's just a little. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, that could
I think
be.
she's doing. I think she's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't talk bad about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I'm not
Your
trying to get
fan,
canceled.
your
You're trying to get
your
us canceled.
fans will, her fans will cancel you 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I
My
don't know.
family will cancel me if I talk bad about Taylor Swift. Can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, our music's great.
I mean,
it slaps. I'm not saying anything bad about her music. I'm just like every one of her songs is about some guy that like jilted her basically.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, but
Maybe
why,
it's her
why
fault.
why did he jilt you?
Yeah.
But we never
Do you
learn.
think it's
We
maybe
never
just
hear
a-
that in the song.
It might be just a writing formula, and she figured out that works, and people like to hear that shit.
No.
and just were like,
I-
that's
I'm
how
sure-
it-
Without a doubt, it's definitely like, it's like the same thing, like sad kind of country songs. Like Hank Williams was that sad the whole time. Like maybe he was actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, but
Yeah.
I just don't think that she's had that bad of luck in relationships.
Yeah.
I think it's her.
You think it's her?
I think it's her.
That's
I think
a good
it's you.
unpopular opinion. I think a lot
T
of.
Swift. I'm sorry, but I don't know.
Jeez.
Maybe go
What if her
talk
and-
to somebody.
Yeah.
What if Taylor Swift and Kanye got together? That'd be crazy.
Oh man, that would be that'd be like an alternator running forever.
It's gonna happen. that
Perpetual emotion. Yeah.
that collaboration is for sure gonna happen.
No, but there's no way.
Oh,
He fucking ruined her
Oh,
best
yeah.
music video of all time speech.
he did. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was Beyonce's time.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
That's
She's French.
That's a good unpopular opinion.
Thank
I'm,
you.
I'm into that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that. Thank you.
All right. My unpopular opinion is that I've been seeing this a lot lately, and I'm not into it. Overalls do not need to make a comeback.
I
disagree.
yeah, 100%. I was in.
Of course, the guy from Kentucky's gonna.
Yeah, I was
disagree
an
with me.
Oshkosh Bagosh kid all day.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm just saying that there's literally no more unflattering piece of attire than an overall.
I think a nicely fitted overall on a wonderful looking lady is good in my book.
When you hit 6
could be
years old,
wearing-
it's time to retire them.
What if people just broad?
Okay.
My papa wore overalls into his 80s, like 100%. Overalls are great. That's a good unpopular opinion, though.
Chuck, well, you said something though that we missed.
Oh, overalls. I mean, imagine if everyone's walking around in their wetsuits just half down. Just like
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be worse. Just like going out to dinner in your wetsuit.
I mean, no, it can certainly be worse than overalls for sure, but it's also like they don't need to be around either.
Who have you seen?
Anton, where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm
dude?
from
the 30 What are you? Are you
there
kidding
Miami,
me?
Fort Lauderdale area. Yeah.
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 I don't know, man.
Who have you
I'm all about
seen
overalls.
wearing overalls though?
It's been happening a lot in like movies and shows that I've been watching, And I just know it's
Watching a lot of period pieces.
well, no, actually, that's the problem. Is that they're like modern shows, and I'm seeing that they're trying to sneak them in to the culture again. This is what they do. They're sneaking them in. They start to plant the things in mainstream culture, like in television shows.
20s are coming back.
And movies and in music videos. I'm sure you're gonna start to see them again. And what happens is people are like, oh, that's a fad now, and we're gonna do that. Yeah. Let's not make it a fad now. Let's just leave them where they are.
Sounds like I need to go buy some overall stock.
Yeah.
One thing.
Dan's gonna start wearing overalls at all the Steeln Peaches shows.
Yeah,
Let's go, dude. I'm about it.
The only bad thing about overalls is there's no zipper.
Guess what?
You got to take the whole thing off
No,
to
guess
go to the
what?
bathroom.
There's
Like,
literally
the original romper is the overall.
Yeah, it's a romper for sure. Imagine taking one of them off in front of a urinal.
I mean, there's literally
Then taking a deuce.
Yeah.
there's so much more wrong with an overall than the fact it doesn't have a zipper. It's literally like all of it's wrong.
Well, I poop naked anyways, so that's
Yo, you're
totally
one of those
fine
guys.
with me,
I
yeah.
believe it. I feel like Billy.
That'd be crazy.
I feel like Billy's the guy that, like Billy's the kid that when he was like 6 years old and had to go pee in the bushes, he would just pull his pants all the way down to his ankles and lift his shirt up,
100%.
and just let it rip in the bushes.
100%, but I don't sit.
Or use the bathroom backwards and use the top of the toilet as a little table.
Yeah, of course.
Juice and whatnot.
That just makes sense.
Yeah.
I just found out that like half of our band wipes from the front.
Yo, we talked about that last night.
What do you don't wipe from the front?
Yeah, you got.
What?
I don't even know how that's aerodynamically possible. You have to wipe from the front.
You gotta wipe from the front, right?
Yeah.
Chuck, you a back wiper? You guys are back wipers?
Dude, have you seen these obliques, bro? Come on, bro.
No, I don't do that.
I blame my back wipe.
I don't.
That's another opponent.
I definitely don't pee sitting down though. I will say that.
I'm a big fan of that.
That's
sure.
fucking ridiculous.
I'm with you, bro.
That's so gross.
Hell yes.
Ugh.
All right, guys, where are you guys at?
Yeah. What's your unpopular opinion? Chuck, you go first.
Oh, that jazz is wrong notes.
Jazz is
Oh,
wrong notes. I'm right there with you.
That is a real oversimplification of
Not
jazz.
real.
Not real.
I have a conspiracy theory.
Doesn't make it jazz, dude.
Yeah.
I have a conspiracy theory about jazz that like one day, like back in the 20s, somebody was just like just messing up real hard at a gig, and he's like, no, this is the new style of music, and then everybody just went with it.
Man,
He was just a very, very convincing guy.
Billy's-
Or girl.
Billy's
or them.
heard like 3 jazz tunes in his life, so I'm not
I
listening to
love
what he
the
has to say.
Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack. It's my favorite.
And just assumes jazz started in the 20s.
Yeah.
You didn't it? All right, I'm sorry.
So, you're not a fan of the jazz, huh, Chuck?
No, I'm totally a fan of the jazz.
Yeah,
I was
me
just
either.
Saying I think that's an unpopular opinion. The people
Oh, I see. You don't actually believe it. You're saying that that's opinion that's unpopular, just a consensus.
I mean, he's got a point. It literally is.
Maybe I
the wrong nose.
misunderstood the assignment.
Yeah. And I'm
No,
pretty
no,
easygoing.
that's
don't
fine.
have
I
any
love-
unpopular opinions.
That's a goddamn lie. I know that's true.
Yeah, catch me
No,
at the
I
right
like the fact
show.
that
Yeah, I'll be like, it sucks.
Yeah. No, I like that you just went with just a general unpopular opinion, and that's not even your opinion. I'm super into that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, we didn't put that in the writer.
All right. Well, we do have one unpopular opinion. Do you really not have an unpopular opinion, Dan? Or are you gonna omit your?
Not that I can't think of. No, not really.
Okay.
We got
Gatorade's
Easy
better.
going. What'd you say?
Gatorade's better.
Then what?
H2O.
No, I disagree strongly with
It's
that
from
one
the
too.
Water Boy, dude.
Yeah, he was wrong about
It
everything.
was the Fawns.
Okay.
But we got fan mail, don't we, Tony?
We do have some fan mail.
Yeah.
One more unpopular opinion. We got it from our boy. I think we all know Kevin Maines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what a great guy.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, does he have an unpopular opinion?
He sure does.
Here we go. Oh, no.
Oh,
I
man.
knew somebody was going to get us with one.
He's going. I know he's doing this to just kind of fucking irk it to you guys a
Yeah,
little bit.
he's been saying it's like the craziest unpopular opinion we've ever had.
It's not the craziest one, but it is pretty good. He said, unpopular but absolutely factual, indisputable opinion. Jack Pearson is the best guitar player to ever be a member of the Allman Brothers.
Yo, oh, well, I don't know about
Crazy.
best ever, but Jack is the man, boy.
Yeah,
Just like
100%.
seamless and flawless.
You know, there's so many guitar players in that band that were phenomenal, but Jack is just...
So here's my tiff with this whole circle of fists right here is Jack Pearson was a big overall wearer, Anton.
That's true.
Hey, you know, then
and if some of the most iconic videos of the Allman Brothers are with Jack wearing overalls.
Looks like a train conductor.
Now I think you hate the Allman Brothers.
No,
Anton.
he just doesn't want them.
Just
He doesn't want it to bring it back.
No, you're right.
Leave it where it was in the 70s.
no, you know what? You're right. And actually, I couldn't disagree with Kevin more now because Jack Pearson wears overalls.
Actually, he wears overalls. He is the man.
I think something I heard that the reason why Jack got hired in the Allman Brothers was because Dickie saw him play guitar, and Dickie said, "If we don't hire that dude in the band, then I'm gonna have him give me guitar lessons." Is how that happened.
Or he said, then I'm going to go start a band with him.
Yeah, right,
that what he said?
exactly.
Oh, that's actually really smart. So we can pay him to be in the band and get free guitar lessons, or I got to pay him to give me guitar lessons.
And then, didn't Jack Pearson do a thing where he would play in standard, but he'd tune his G string to G sharp?
Yeah.
So the top of 3 strings are like you're playing an open E, but
And
it's
all 5 of them except for the G.
Yeah.
So you could get those major chords by just kind of going down. But it's good to be a 7 because you have that 7.
so
That's
Jack Pearson tricks.
that's wild. I did not know that.
Me neither.
We know that you didn't know,
But-
Bill.
But Jack Pearson is the man. That is a great opinion, Kevin. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I saw them at I think it was with. It wasn't Freight Train. It was the other.
Was it Laborers?
I think yes, it was with them at Wani. It was
Yep.
2017, I think.
Oh, that set was so good, dude. I was
So
there.
good. I
So
was
good.
on copious amounts of Molly by that point, but it was.
Me too.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Just joking. Just joking.
No, well, don't take it back now, Daniel. Where
Or
did you
is it
go?
Molly?
Yeah, I know. It's just hard to say about it sometimes, right?
I
Guys,
can't focus.
this has been an awesome podcast. Thank you so much for being on the show. We really
That was a
appreciate it.
high note to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Musician jokes.
Yeah.
Um,
Musician jokes.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to plug anything again real quick before we go?
Plug anything?
Just Steeln Peaches, Chuck Magid Trio, Daniel Heitz Band, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll be in Jacksonville November 4th at Underbelly. It's our first time at Underbelly, not 1904.
It's a
So-
good new venue. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, you guys are going to dig it.
We're really excited. Come out there and see what we've been
November
working on. We've
4th.
been
I'm
learning a lot
there.
new
I'm
tunes.
off.
Let's go,
Oh, yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
I love how Billy knows his calendar like that. It makes me feel good.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Billy, you're going to be okay, dude, no matter what he says about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I say all the things, so.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like since I met you, you just told me how awful I am at piano.
Yeah, I
constantly.
know. We've gotten a lot better, though. It's great.
That's
how me and
the
Chuck are.
first compliment I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
100%.
What's our joke, Daniel?
Our joke is we'll be on stage and we'll walk up to each other and we'll whisper to each other. I'll go, "It's crazy that you play guitar because I am so much better than you."
So, dude, this comes from this incredible ski movie. It was a ski movie filmed in Squaw Valley, and they used to play a game called Gnar, where every year they would figure out who the gnarliest guy in the mountain is. And different things had different point systems. So going up to and like spraying some tourists and being like, I can't believe you ski because I'm so much better than you. And then like you ski off, like you'd get some Gnar points. So like, or if you were about to drop in on a big run, you call your mom first and tell her you're about to rip the shit out of the shit. You get some Gnar points. If you do it naked, you get more points. So we kind of play our own little game of Gnar by busting each other's balls and trying to get each other to step up.
How many times have you guys called each other naked before a show and told you that you were better than the other one?
What?
I'm just saying, it sounds like some NAR points right
That's
there.
we should start doing that. Yeah.
Dude, you get some Gnar points.
or
It's
Yeah.
like, bro, I can't believe you play guitar because I play so much better than you. Wasted. So, like,
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
no, we have fun.
All right,
man.
guys. Well,
So,
thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
No, thank y'all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
see you
link
guys.
up on some sidebars, getting some more deep depth convos on that music biz.
Yeah, that
100%.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be a fly on that wall.
Yeah.
Then,
I'm
let's,
kidding.
let's just play some
don't mean-
music, Bill.
That sounds better.
Yeah, I'm into that too.
I'm with you.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, thank
Adios,
you.
muchachos.
Peace.